Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 2023 Rogue Invitational. We're here at the Tailgate Show. I'm Pat Sherwood, and we have an absolute treat in store for everybody. Not only is it day 3 of CrossFit competition, and we have a fun event coming up, but I'm joined at the desk by Katrin Davidsdottir, 2-time CrossFit Games champion, Annie T, also got 2 gold medals as well, and competition director for the CrossFit Games, Adrian Bosman. So welcome, everybody. We're going to have a blast. We're going to watch some deadlifts.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that we divided up the table here between boys and girls. You know, it's really important.
And champions and not champions.
Yeah,
So
totally.
You guys are champions, too.
I appreciate that.
Champions in our hearts.
There are those who work out and those who talk about working out.
Different kinds of champions, yes.
Yep. So this is going to be fantastic. It's going to be done ladder style. Going to start at 305 pounds. Quick, what is that in kilos?
What did you say? 137, I believe.
Yeah, I'll take Cat's word for it.
137, I believe.
137 kilos.
That was quick on the draw.
Okay, yep.
Well, 300 is 135.
So you get a calculator underneath the underneath
I
the
was
desk?
just saying, I'm like, where's my phone? I need a calculator for this event because
I've been in the States for so long, so I did kilos when I started, and now I've been in the States. So it's like,
your brain kind of goes.
Yeah, I can now
switches.
do 4 weights that I can lift. Once it's like far above, like the men's deadlift, I'm like, I can't do that math anymore.
So there's 4 platforms out there, so 4 women will lift at once. They'll keep building in load until they get to, too heavy for some. Then it'll be down to 10 athletes on 2 platforms until finally there'll be 5 athletes lifting on that final platform to figure out who has the best. Maybe not the best deadlift ever, but the best deadlift right now on day 3 of competition in 6 events.
Now, Pat, I got a question
Steel
for you.
plates, old school steel plates. I like that too.
For tactile effect.
Yeah.
Now, Pat, you've been here, long days. You're fatigued. Maybe not as fatigued as
I've
these
never
athletes.
been tired in my life, Adrian.
But I'm just saying, you're a decent puller. What do you take your chances are jumping in the mix right now?
Oh my goodness. I'm just tired from standing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet 315 for me would feel like 405 right now. I bet it was just the fatigue, and I haven't done a single workout. So I can't imagine what these women have been through, and now here it goes. But it's going to be, but this is what happens though, right? I mean, you two could speak to this better than I do, right? I mean, I'm sure you're off camera, you're off the stadium floor, you feel a little fatigued, you feel whatever, then you get out there, there's the hype music playing, and the fans start to go crazy, and you hear the weights clanking around.
It is just different.
The hardest thing about competition so often is the warm-up.
Yes.
Because you're so sore, you're so tired, you have to build yourself up, you're kind of behind the scenes, and then it is amazing what happens when you take the floor, the crowd is there. I think both of us very much feed off of a good crowd and the energy and the lights, and it's just there's magic out there, and weights feel lighter, and suddenly any aches or pains that you had are just gone.
That's awesome.
I actually think that you were saying it's the 3rd day of competition. I think we're going to see the athletes do what they would be able to do in training at home or more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because of that crowd effect.
Yeah, because of that.
They're ready to go.
I'm also kind of curious. I've never actually used a bar like this. I think they were talking about that they're going to be using deadlift bars. Does that mean that the women are using, then you need to take the slack a little bit, so I think you're going to be able to lift a little bit more. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
But I wonder, do the women have then a female deadlift bar, or are they lifting with a male bar? Do you know?
It's a great question. I don't know. We'll see if somebody chirps that in my ear, and I do see a little bend in the bar there.
I wonder what the knurling is like too, because they've got some bars back there. Have you felt those with the really aggressive?
That's the thing, with the deadlift as well. It's such a heavy load, so having a strong grip is going to make such a big difference.
Now, I'm just kind of curious, that last event, that super aggressive sprint event, right into something that's so taxing, like a 1-rep max. For you guys as competitors, do you like that, like a super high energy but relatively short event into something super aggressive like this, or would you rather the flavor be a little different?
So personally, the more fatigue that we can go into a 1-rep max event, that favors me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think Annie's very much the same way. It's we work well under duress, and I think we recover well, and I think it taxes the girls that have more power output and are stronger. So I bet it works in our favor, but at the same time, we aren't as powerful and are not able or capable to hit as big of weights.
You've got the conditioning and the stamina.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be able
that
to
would be on a clean and a snatch, because that's such a like a power, it's such a snappy lift, like so much nervous system. I feel like a deadlift obviously is, your nervous system is fried after doing a heavy deadlift, but I don't feel like it needs to be as fresh. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
To pull a big load. But yeah,
So that's the equalizer for both of you. Is like, hey, let's just stack up the events.
It's not quite an equalizer.
Well, you know, but like in the scheme of things.
Closer.
Yeah, there you go.
I was really happy at the games that like the max lift was so late in the competition, because that's, like Kat said, that's going to be better for us.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am super excited to see how Tia is going to do in the deadlift, because she's an incredibly strong deadlifter, but after, like, she's been doing so good after giving birth, but like this would be something that's like, I am very, very excited to see what she can do on this.
And she performs extremely well on 1 rep max events.
Yeah.
She thrives on it. Is fun to watch her in 1 rep max events. She goes for it and she does what needs to be done. So I'm excited to see.
Yeah, because
she
like
she clung on to the lead after that last event. She's she's still in the lead, but Laura's behind her by just 10 little points.
Not far behind.
Not far.
And the squats, what was it, yesterday? They were like a little bit heavier on Tia than they've been in the past. Like very understandably, she still like crushed the event.
Right.
But that's why I'm like, it will be interesting to see here.
For as long as we've been able to see Tia compete, and as good as I know that she is, particularly when it comes to like 1 rep max, I'm still always surprised when she comes out and just, you know what I mean? It's like, I know it's coming, and I still get surprised by it.
She keeps upping a standard.
Yes.
There's a certain standard, she keeps pushing it. It's amazing.
So not that stats and numbers are always accurate, because sometimes they don't get updated. So, all that stuff happens. But so take it for what it's worth. But for listed deadlifts walking into this, Laura Horvath listed at 405 pounds for the deadlift, and Tia listed 10 pounds heavier at 415.
I feel like that's low for Laura.
Like I said, take it for what it's worth.
Low for her. The way she lifted at the games this year, that does not seem like her max.
No. We were talking about her coming into the events, though. What are numbers that you guys are expecting to see from the women?
That's a great question. I mean, we were chatting a little bit before we got on, but I think we'll see north of 400 for sure.
Yes, I think so. I think we're going to see above.
My guess was 405, but now I'm like, woo! Those numbers.
What did I say? 415?
I think you said like 418, 420.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with Annie. I think it's going to be
that would be amazing.
That would be so cool to see.
But that
would be like a little bit irritating to me, because deadlift is probably my strongest lift, and that's more than what I would be able to do. But
you should see if they've got an extra spot. Just warm up real quick, Annie. Head out there.
So to catch up any viewers just tuning in right now, we've got 4 athletes lifting at once. We're at 315 pounds right now. They're going to continue to increase weight until it gets too heavy. Some athletes, start to fail some lifts. When there are 10 athletes, there will only be 2 platforms. We'll reduce it down to that, those 2 center platforms. Then they'll keep adding weight. When you're down to your final 5, you will be on that center platform, which is over home plate. And it'll be everybody looking at 1 athlete at a time, going as heavy as they can.
That'll be fun.
Awesome.
That'll be so
Lauren
fun.
is also a very strong deadlifter.
Yep.
I remember that training with her. I was like, well, this is my strong lift, and you're real.
She makes it look really easy. Yeah, she looks
supposed to be
so
my wheelhouse.
Cool. It's so cool to see her out there. I love it. I love that she's back in the mix.
Me too.
I agree.
And that was Gazan was in that round, right?
Yeah.
She is crazy strong also. I have to admit, I like the videos that have come out. Alex Gazan. The videos of her benching.
Oh my God. Was that a 275? Like, it's unfathomable. Like, both of us are strong benchers, and we're not even close to it.
Yes.
It is amazing.
There was a video of her on her Instagram where she was repping with like 85-pound dumbbells on the bench. I was like, that's
just
awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, that's goals for anybody, quite frankly.
Savage.
It's going to be exciting to see, though, like how each of these reps is going to affect when we get up to those higher reps, because they're already going to have lifted. Does it go up by 10 pounds every time?
It looks
They might have lifted 8 or 10 bars before they get to.
I have that in front of me. We'll see here. Maybe we can chirp it in my ear.
But if you just think about the ladder formats at the games, Yeah,
well,
I don't know. I don't,
did we, hold
they
on,
get a longer break.
Yeah, I was going to say, did we
True.
start at 3:05 or 3:15?
Yeah, 3:05.
Okay, so we've already done 2 rounds now.
How
Yeah.
much, I don't know if I'm going to phrase this question properly, but I'm going to try. How much of a risk, for lack of a better way to say it, are you willing to take for some points on a lift like this? You know, you're in training, you're paying attention to your mechanics, how's the spine going on, you know, all that good stuff. You know, you stop when you're like, that's enough for today. Here, you might be one of those, you know, right on the cusp. These 5 points mean a lot. Do you take some risks on a heavy lift like this?
I am a big risk taker.
You are?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
I think I would always pull as far as I can go.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't take so this is where I would draw the line. If you have more events to go and it's not going to be like multiple spots, I would draw the line where I'm starting to struggle a lot when I'm above the knees.
Okay.
And that's where like my lower back, I would probably finish that lift, but then I would be like, okay, the next one will probably be a fairly dangerous one because it's usually from the bottom half that's like you just feel if you have it or not. You know what I mean? And well, let's say from the bottom half, let's say you're lifting and you're barely getting it off, I'm not going to spend 20 seconds trying to pull it any higher.
Right.
Like,
fair enough.
Yeah, that's a better way to say it.
That's a big hole to climb out of later.
Yes, for sure.
I don't know. I very much just think about one event at a time and taking every single point that I can in every single event and not leaving anything on the table and just trusting. Like, of course it creeps into my head, like, am I going to recover? But at the end of the day, I'll always be like, trust in my recovery and trust that everybody goes through all of the events.
And you have to trust in that.
Yeah, take what you can. Do what you can in every single event.
Wow, who's that top right? Was that Manon? No.
On the top right?
Was it Kira, I think?
Oh, yeah, that's right. She made that look easy.
Yeah, that looked very fast for her.
So, Adrian, I know that you did not program the Rogue Invitational. We've had Josh Bridges on all the time. He's been chatting about that, but you're no stranger to programming events like this. What kind of things roll through your mind as to what the starting weight should be?
That's a great question. I mean, really, I think what you have to think about is how many rounds do you expect the top athletes to go through, and what is that weight that you kind of anticipate, and then work backwards from there. That's the way that I like to usually approach these types of things. You know, because you don't want to start people at a weight that is inconsequential. There's not really a utility in that, unless you want a certain level of fatigue. But you got to have a range,
everybody's going to lift no matter what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So in my experience, it's best to kind of take a look at what the top is going to be and then work backwards with the number of lifts that you would like from the field. So maybe that's 7 or 8 lifts. Okay, well, let's work backwards from the top. And that roughly can inform the starting point, roughly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Here we are at 3
You want to have it
1/4.
something that everyone can do, maybe like at least 1 lift.
Sure, or the majority of the field, right? Like that's the other thing. You never want an event.
You don't need a lot more than that.
Yeah, like,
wait, why is Laura not lifting?
Oh, I think it was the girl in front of her that was out.
Oh,
she already got it.
So she needs to get the same amount of rest as everyone else.
Yeah, okay.
That's another thing. I'm seeing like who's wearing a belt here. I've never known how to deadlift with a belt.
I'm the same. I mean, not that I'm, you know,
you and me
special,
both, right? Exactly. I don't.
But I've always preferred lifting without a belt. Even like I understand the utility.
I squat with a belt, like a 1 rep max squat. But for a deadlift, I feel like I can't engage my core the same way.
Oh, so easy for Lauren. It's so fast.
It's so fast from the ground.
We had
Beautiful.
Brian Shaw, you know, on the show earlier, and he said he won't belt up till he hits 800.
Yeah, same.
That's kind of how I roll too.
Maybe that's my rule.
That's what Boz is waiting for.
That's why I haven't belted up yet, because I haven't hit that yet.
Yeah, exactly. Just got to get to that threshold, you know.
I love it. That year we had like 1 rep max, like the CrossFit total at the games, and I obviously wore my belt for like the back squat. And then we're going over for like the deadlift, and I've taken the belt off, and then I realized that I'm wearing a blue shirt and blue pants. I'm like, I look like a Smurf. I'm just gonna have the belt on
and not
just to break it up.
Just so I would look as bad.
Yeah, break up the look a little.
And then I love on the feet, like I saw clips of the feet like on Instagram afterwards. Like, oh yeah, and Annie's strapping her belt. I'm like, well, actually,
it's a wardrobe choice.
There was a reason, but not the reason you think.
Yep.
I love the drone shots.
I do too. Yes. I was thinking about that earlier, and it's a little, you know, CrossFit Games history for people way back when we were in the early years of Carson. we hired a helicopter on one year, and then there was a blimp the other year, and the amount of money that was spent on those types of shots was astronomical. And it's just so cool that now, you know, you can buy a nice drone for a pretty reasonable amount of money and get these incredible shots. It's awesome.
Beautiful footage.
It used to be a really big deal. It's yeah, it's great. Oh man, look at this.
So
wow.
Such service.
335 is how much in kilos?
That's gonna be 150.
150? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Do some quick calculator math.
Right?
Yeah, that'd be like, I think
147.7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for my European friends out there.
Yep.
Oh wow, thanks.
You know what's funny is we were talking about this earlier on the back squat workout is when it came up, right? Because I believe that was 260 pounds for women.
That was overhand.
5
That's
reps
interesting.
each time.
Yeah. Sorry. Yep.
Is that heavy means something different like every 3 years? Like, oh, it's a heavy weight. Is it heavy? What was heavy in 2010 is now something that you cycle in a workout. And heavy in 2015 meant something different. And now heavy in 2023 is there's a 260-pound back squat in the workout for multiple reps under fatigue while you're breathing heavy.
It is
just
so
the
funny how
strength progression that
yes.
CrossFit athletes have undergone over the last decade or more. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, I agree. I have to say, I did get surprised. I didn't know all the events for the teams this year since I wasn't going team. But that clean event at semis, where the girls finished and they were supposed to be repping 235 like after the other lift, I'm like, I wonder who's going to be repping 235 on teams. That will be
crazy.
Insane to me. That will be like 1 in 1 girl that will be able to like get a lift.
Yeah, you'd kind of hope that one of the girls on the team would be able to, and she would do both lifts.
Yeah,
how was that?
It was good. I mean, it was very impressive. The top of the field, again, you know, you saw some
the top of the field.
Pretty amazing things come out of that. And that was a deliberate choice. You know, you talk about some of the decisions that go into some of these workouts. In that particular instance, there was no 1 rep max for the team at that stage of competition. So
that's
like,
how I looked at it.
So
like,
it's got to be, so the first weights needed to be such that everybody on the team could get them, and it was about who could get the most reps. But by the end of it, it was like, okay, if you are strong enough, you should be able to showcase that, because there's no true 1 rep max at that stage.
Yeah.
So that was a deliberate choice, and knowingly that, like, to your point, not everybody in the field is going to get one, and it is going to be a little bit more rare, and that's okay.
I'd be like, all right, let's put the SPD knees on and always, and the belt super tight, and let's like go.
Yep. Wait, Annie, you mentioned that somebody was lifting double overhand. Did you see that?
Yes.
I don't know. I bet that was a lat engagement thing. Like sometimes when you go mixed grip, like one of your lats will be able to activate it better, and like I sometimes lose the other bar away from me. So I wonder if it's just keeping the bar closer.
I do think for a 1 rep max, like I would never do that for 1 rep max, like, because the grip is such a big factor, I feel, on deadlifts for the nervous system as well, to feel like you're going to get the weights.
True.
But yeah.
Yeah, some people, it's funny, you know, I've seen more and more people start doing max deadlifts with a hook. I've seen that
with
a lot more. Yeah, with a hook grip. Not a double overhand true, but like put a hook grip.
Oh, so fast, Lauren.
I know.
Yeah, she's still
we
moving
did
easy.
good.
Let me see what she's, you know, again, take it with a grain of salt, what she's listing her deadlift at.
I think like 180 kilos would be my guess.
Lauren?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hovered around that 400.
She's such an explosive athlete.
Yes.
Man, what a great shot. Look at that sky in the background. I mean, this is
beautiful.
This is awesome.
So Lauren is listing it at 380 pounds, so 173.
173 for Lauren.
Yeah.
Okay. I would guess that she has 175. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I'm curious. I think Lawson just lifted in that round. I'll be curious to see where she falls out. You know, she's such a young athlete, and I know that her strength has come along so far in the last couple of years.
Yes. We were just talking about that yesterday. Like, she's one of the athletes that I can't even put a guess out.
Exactly.
Because she tends to just, like, surprise me so much with the things that she can do.
She's sitting
That's
in third
why I'm
place.
always just excited to see. I'm like...
Me too.
Yeah.
But you even think about, like, not even in the last couple of years, take the games last year, so just over a year ago, and there was the yoke, heavy cleans, like she really struggled there. And this year, she's putting up some really big weights on Oli lifts, back squats, like she's pulling well, and it's really exciting to see.
Yeah, just how she attacked the back squat workout yesterday was so cool. Just like straight to it, belt on, let's go.
So methodical.
When we're not dragging you two women here onto the show, how have you been spending your time? You out there in Vendor Village, just watching the events? What have you been doing?
Well, we just recorded a podcast earlier with
Chris Hinshaw. He's so fun to listen to and talk to.
He's got a lot to say.
Yes. So
you never have to press Chris for his opinion.
I know,
It's
and
great.
I love listening to him. So that was really fun. And then we've both been running classes for morning classes.
Oh, really?
Working out ourselves.
Yep. Staying fit. Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Where did you guys run the classes?
I was at CrossFit Texas with like Yerbe and Momentous, and then Kat was at...
I was at CrossFit Central downtown. Amazing gym. It was so big and spacious and open. And then the one this morning was at BPN HQ, which was also, it was like smaller, but an amazing gym. I think it's not like an open gym. It was just for their employees, but it's just so fun to see. It's such a great turnout. People are so excited to come.
So excited.
They've been so early too. The workouts have been at 7 o'clock. Yeah. They're at 7 o'clock and 7:30, and they're there, and people's energy are just amazing and just willing to throw down.
That's perfect. I mean, timing-wise, it's great because you guys can do that, and then they can still get here for the first event at 9:30. You know, like that's great.
That's why it's like, it's really sad not to be competing, but those are the only chances I feel like you actually have the opportunity to give a little bit back. And I so seldom get to spend time with people like that. And then being able to run a class like that, like I so seldom coach anymore. So it's like, I thoroughly enjoy that.
Nice.
Woo, that was fast.
Man, how about Shelby Neal? Good for her.
Yeah.
I mean, she has to be the smallest athlete in the field.
And for how small she is, that is an amazing deadlift. I did not expect that from her, but she's pulling some big weights.
And I assume you two have had just some good, fan community interaction, just walking around here, meeting cool people all around the world.
People are so sweet. Like, it's so fun to meet people and their energy, and it's so fun to we were talking about it the other day. Very often people will gravitate very quickly towards one of us. Of I started CrossFit because that was the year that you won the games, or I saw you on that documentary, and it's that's so special. And they have a story to tell about that, of how CrossFit has helped them or changed them, and it's amazing, and it's so fun to get to hear those stories, because when we compete, it's a high five and a photo.
Yep.
You don't really get to stop and engage, and
now you get to talk.
Yes. Yes.
And what the heck are you doing here?
Just hanging out, man. No, I mean, honestly, to echo what Katrin and Annie said, it's just such a pleasure to be able to hang out. And same thing, I've got a lot of time when I'm here. I get to enjoy the event. I get to be a fan.
To be a spectator and a fan.
Yeah, I mean, my wife and I joke. It's man, I'm a fan first, So it's great to be able to do that, and then to hang out and meet people, and like they said, have the time where I'm not rushing to the next thing. I mean, you guys know how it is at the games. You don't have time for anything. You're always moving to the next step. So it's just great to have that luxury of time.
And it's really fun to be on here with you, Pat.
Yeah.
It's my honor.
I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's fantastic, trust me. This makes work not feel like work. And that's a cool thing.
Can I tell you guys what I avoided today? And this will be kind of a fun little Easter egg for the people because this is a paid stream, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're premium content.
Premium information.
Come on, man.
Let me tell you what I avoided doing today. I avoided wrestling Jason Khalipa all day today because
on the I saw him on the jiu-jitsu mat.
I would not want to wrestle him.
I've been doing jiu-jitsu for a couple of years now. Jason's been doing jiu-jitsu for I think a little bit longer than me. And he's always like, "Come on, bro, let's get some rounds." And I'm like, "Dude, I want nothing about that."
He has the longest arms in the world.
He's huge. He's way fitter than me. I'm like, I'm good, you know?
I mean, the sheer power that human being has, and then somebody taught him how to use it. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous.
So that's how I spent my afternoon, was trying to
Just
avoid
in pure avoidance.
Yeah.
Hiding every time you see him come, you're walking away.
I can see him giving a lot of peer. Bro, come on, bro. Hey,
exactly.
come on.
Yeah, he's so enthusiastic.
He is, and he's always happy.
Yep.
He's the greatest energy.
That would be a great, just, I don't know
Whoa,
what
Emma's
that.
trying again. She failed.
Oh,
She's trying
really?
You
again.
can take another one. Oh, that's
Whoosh.
awesome. Ooh, here we go.
No. Yeah. She's one of those athletes that always takes a chance.
Our
She
conversation
is
we
so
had earlier.
fun to watch because it's like, all right, let's see what happens. It's beautiful.
Yeah, she's gritty.
Now,
Yes.
I would have to assume, never having competed at the level that you did, if this is going to be the end of event number 6, there's 3 events tomorrow. Some things are known, some things aren't. That if obviously, if things go your way, you love how the leaderboard looks. As far as you know, tomorrow looks good. Probably sleep like an angel. But let's say you have one of those days where you end on a sour note. It doesn't go how you want. You got to get home. Was it easy or hard for each of you to shut those thoughts off, get your rest, get your sleep, put it out of your head, can't control it, or did it haunt you a bit? It was a restless night. You showed up the next day like, that's bothered me all night long.
I don't think it would bother me all night long, but of course it's easier to get out of it. When you finish on a high, you're just so happy, you're excited, and you're faster maybe at like getting ready for just sleeping. It's like, all right, let's do this again tomorrow. But otherwise, maybe I would need to talk about it for like 10 minutes with my coach, with Frederick, get all the feelings out of the way, and then it's like, all right, well, that's
Address
done
it.
and that's it.
Address
Let's
it,
go.
move on.
I would always have to address it, get through it, and then I'm like, all right, now that's over. Let's get ready.
Catherine, what about yourself?
So I feel like there's always like, I think I have a harder time when you're not where you want to be, and there's like disappointment in it, because then you start questioning like, why am I not competing like I want to be competing? Like, is something wrong? And you have to like shift those thoughts away too. And kind of like through the years, you also learn like you have bad events and you can flip that just as fast. Like, what if the events were in a different order and you have been competing phenomenally? And I think there's definitely more of an excitement of being like performing like you want to be performing, so you're excited. That can also be a challenge, because I don't know, I've tried both of like trying to be very like even keeled, and like this year I actually like allowed myself to just be happy and like celebrate more, and it does take a little more energy out of me, but I liked it more. And like, what are we doing this for if it isn't fun?
Exactly.
And so yes, it takes more energy, and you actually have to work to keep yourself down also, like when you are excited. But that's definitely a position that you do want to be in. And like Saturday is moving day, and Sunday is last day, best day. So like, of course you want to come into that day having a chance to fight, and that's always a position that you want to be in.
I always thought that didn't get the pressure, the credit that it deserved, right? Because there's a lot of what made CrossFit cool was you could relate to the athletes to some degree, because, well, I do deads, and I do thrusters, and I do whatever. True, but I don't feel the pressure when I go into my garage that you're feeling, either from yourself, your fans, the sponsors, whatever it happens to be, right? I get a bad workout, we'll see what happens tomorrow. And so I always thought the pressure that you athletes had to deal with was like the X factor that didn't get addressed. And some of those true champions, from the outside anyway, you never know what was going on in the head, they seem to handle it so well. But I would have to think it's a heavy burden.
Well, do you just mean day-to-day, or do you mean at the games?
I'm talking, it could be both, but I was thinking on the competition floor, You're expected to be amazing all the time.
Yeah. I think to like be a champion, you do have to handle it well, and you do have to know that like events could be in any order. What if your worst one had been last? You didn't even know that a bad one's coming. Like, how would you compete? And it's one at a time. And like, I had like a really cool realization, because I compete better in certain spots. Like, I compete very well when I have a fighting chance, and I like that feeling. And I was very nervous for the muscle up event, and I wasn't sure how, and I actually like felt myself closing in, and I asked myself, what place do I want to be in? And I wanted to be in a fighting, I wasn't at that time, but I was like, I want to be fighting for a podium spot. And just the fact of like thinking that and like, okay, I'm gonna put myself in that spot and see what happened. I think I can be, I did phenomenally in that event. I've never done so well in a muscle up event, like for me. And that was just like, that was a thing that I decided in my head. It wasn't even true, but it was a story that I was telling myself. I think we have to be able to do that. Like, how are we going to get the most out of myself in this moment right here? And you never know how it's going to play out, how the events are going to play out, how your competitors are going to play out. And even if you're not in a fighting spot, you still want to have put yourself into the best spot available at all times.
I buy that.
Yeah. Now, did that change a lot for you guys? Like, you both have so much competitive experience. Like, you know, and from the outside looking in, everybody on the field has a lot of poise. You know, like I know that there's certain things that get emotional, and sometimes competitors don't always have their composure together. But for the most part, I would say anybody at these high-level competitions is like so good at keeping it together.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm just curious, you know, from year one to, you know, how many years you have in the game now, did it change a lot over the years? Is that something you had to develop, or was it kind of natural?
Well, I had to develop it, and that's what it really resonated what you said with the whole like pressure from sponsors and all of that. That was one of my harder years, was competing 2012 because I had won the previous year. And after that, it was like, well, everything else will be a disappointment, and I worked so hard.
That's a lot of pressure.
What if, like, when I felt like I performed not great the first 2 days or the first 1.5 day, and I was just like broken. I'm like talking to my coaches, and I was just like, well, I'm so sorry. I was like apologizing to them about my performance, and I was crying. I'm like, I don't know why I'm not performing the way I should. Like, I don't know what's happening, and I feel so bad about disappointing my sponsors, and all my family is here to support me, and they don't want to see me do this badly.
So much pressure you put on yourself.
So much pressure, absolutely. But then I was like, well, like we talked through it, and it was so great to have Carl Paoli at that time, because he was like, well, do you think your parents are going to love you any less? And I'm like, oh my God, no.
Right.
I know they will
For
not.
sure.
And he was like, and your sponsors, they're taking a chance on you, and if they don't want to work with you after this year, do you want to work with them?
Yeah, great
And I was
point.
like, no, I don't. And then it's like, well, who are you competing for?
Yeah,
And I'm like, I'm competing for myself. And he was like, I will be proud of you no matter what. No matter how things go, I'm proud of the effort you've put into your training. And it just let me just shift the mindset, because he was like, do you want to quit? You don't have to compete anymore. You can quit if you want to.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, no, I don't. And he was like, well, you don't stand a chance of winning the games again. So just do what you can in the next event. And that's what I did for the next few events, was just do what I could, and all of a sudden I won the games.
Pressure was off a bit.
Then all of a sudden I was competing like me again, and I was having fun again. The previous events I was just like so stressed, and I wasn't having fun, and it wasn't me. I wasn't competing as Annie. I was competing as like a champion.
Oh,
and that made the next years so much better. I realized who I was doing it for, and the people that will be with you because they love you and support you.
I like that.
Yeah.
I
That's
like
great.
that a lot. And I haven't heard that old Carl Paoli name in a
shout
while
out to Carl.
in the past, man.
Great guy. I miss
He's
Carl.
amazing.
Yeah.
Great guy.
He will ask the hardest questions.
And what great perspective. Like, hey, do you think your parents are going to love you any less?
Yes.
Like, when it's framed like that, you're like, well, of course not, right?
Yes.
But the stories we tell ourselves.
I think we've got a fan question that might be popping up here. Let's see.
Oh, how fun.
Okay, from Sarah D. What are Katrin's plans for 2024?
I'm working.
That's a broad question.
That's a broad question. No, I'm competing. We're in a huge foundation phase. I still have huge holes. We were able to fill a lot of them last year, but I still have I have my strengths that are strengths, and I have my holes that have been my holes for so long, and it's so frustrating to show up at the games and wanting to be the best in the world, and you have the same weakness again and again. It starts being a little bit embarrassing. And so really just trying to fill in those holes and identifying what they are. Working with HWPO and my whole team, they're just trying to get my hamstrings to activate, and trying to get my whole body to work together, and then just keep charging forward. I really had so much fun last year, and I found such joy in competing. and whether that was at the games, and I even got so much more out of myself in training by just going up against my teammates, just having fun with that. Again, just like competition brings out the absolute most out of me, and that's such a fun feeling. So just continue. We're in a huge foundation phase right now. Continue what we're doing and just see what we can do.
Well, apparently the fans are ready.
Yeah, right.
They're ready for you in 2024. We've got to be getting a little closer to the field. We're starting to narrow down. We're at 365 pounds. Wow.
Tia and Laura made that look easy, though.
Yeah, okay.
Wow. So she's been looking like...
Wait, is that it? Did that...
She got it,
What was
right?
the call on that? I don't know. Did she?
It still looked a little crooked, but she did.
She got it. She just did a high five there, so
Got
she
it.
must have gotten it.
You get a high five, you get it done.
It was, yeah.
Fair
it
enough.
looked like it was, or what? Yeah, she must have gotten it.
We'll see
But
here.
it was like starting to be heavy on her like 2 lifts ago.
Yeah.
So she's just like...
She's a grinder, for sure.
Yes. Let's see, Tia.
Well, this is going back a little ways, but when Emma Carey had her last lift, I just think, you know, I know she's out now, but I think it's so cool because she had...
Double overhand.
Yeah.
She took a long time for her back
Interesting.
injury, right? And to see her back
Yes.
attacking a lift like this
Yeah.
on the
Yes.
spot like that, that's great.
And attacking it twice.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Same
say,
weight.
like, you-
she's
Yeah,
not
there's
scared
that.
for
That's
her
confident,
back
right?
anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a fight. Wow.
Yes.
That was a fight.
That was a
Good
fight.
for her.
But when you get that high, you have to finish
Right,
it. Like
yeah.
you've done.
I've worked this hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you better get that rep.
And I actually brought you up this morning, Annie, on the morning show that I did with China and Sean, just kind of setting the stage for the day and all this. Because, you know, there's facts and there's data. Then you get people fired up for the stories and whatnot. And obviously, you know, Tia coming back is a great story. Tia, Lauren, and Horvath and all that. And it's very easy to fall into that narrative. You know, hey, Tia, 6 gold medals at the games, 3 at the Invitational. You know, unbeatable. Or, you know, can anyone stop her? And we were having this conversation yesterday. I started to go down this road, and Andy had none of it. She's like, stop right there. You're doing it again. Don't do that. Anybody is beatable. Like, and it was cool.
Yeah,
and
no,
it was
it's
like,
true.
And I was
mean,
like,
that's why you play the game.
100%
Yep.
true. I mean, and here we are, you know,
Yeah.
just 10 little points separating first and second. Whole lot of events left. You never know what's going to happen. And
No,
we have a lot of competition left.
I'm with you. I'm a big believer in that where, you know, especially now, I think there's so many analysts in the sport, and it's great. You know, I think it's awesome that so many people are paying attention to that
so
level.
fun.
Yeah, but they can't predict the future. And sometimes I think that
Wow,
people
looked easy.
forget that, where it's like, no, you still have to play the game. You
Yes.
still have to
Yes.
see it through.
Yes.
There's no predicting the future. You got to see it play out.
You just
have to
never know.
perform.
Yep.
Even like that
every
last
single
event,
time.
a trip over the log, and all of a sudden somebody
Yeah.
who seemed to be untouchable dropped 7 spots.
Yeah.
We've got 12 women remaining at this point.
We got 12 women lifting 365 plus.
No big deal.
After
That's
everything
it.
else
Yeah.
they've done.
Third event of the day.
Holy
And,
smokes.
That's
and a
beautiful.
cool little fact that I just heard, those women who are strong enough and earn their way to that final bar, the top 5, the knurling on that, I guess, is designed like the state of Texas.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Way to go,
wow,
Paige.
that's solid dead.
Look at that.
It's that hockey strength right there.
375. Can you calculate for us Europeans?
Yeah.
I
Heavy.
do feel like Rogue does that. They like go above and beyond with like little things like
With
that like
beautiful
nobody else
details.
gets to
170.
see.
170.
Wow.
Okay.
But yet nobody else gets to see except those women that get to
Yeah.
go down there and touch that
Earned
wrist
it.
check for them. Like,
Earned
like
it.
the
so
money
cool.
bar last
Yeah,
year
yeah.
was really
that was
cool.
fun. Yeah. Do you see the money bags on the strongman? They did.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
good.
nice.
You know what this makes me want to do it, because I don't have any in my garage, is get some steel plates. Like, there's just
Absolutely.
something cool about
Clang
some
and bang.
steel plates, yeah.
Just to
I
have the
don't like
opportunity
steel
to lift 800.
plates.
Like if the day presents itself, like
Yes,
there's
yes.
space on the bar.
Yes. It's just like the annoying thing with steel plate is that they look so small, but they're so heavy. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Truth,
it's
yes.
frustrating that this is heavy. But they are beautiful.
Yeah, Pat, when you and I are working up to 800 so we can put our belts
Exactly
on, we'll
right.
need those steel plates to fit
They
them
were
on the
so
bar.
nice to include me in the conversation. They kind of nodded my direction. I was like, gentlemen, you're in a different universe.
Wow.
Easy for
Wow,
Lauren.
that was
Fast.
very
Yeah,
impressive.
she's done before the other
Nice,
ladies even
nice.
started. That's impressive.
Wow, that was fast.
Yes.
They had the two extremes today. I mean, a 1 rep max deadlift, and then rewind a couple events, and it was a 65 pounds on a power snatch for 10 rounds.
Yeah.
I mean, just
for
light,
120 reps.
Light,
yeah.
high volume, super heavy, low. I mean, they've got everything in between here.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Tia's still looking
Still
strong.
looking so
good for her.
And you know what? The crowd loves heavy weight.
How can you not? I mean, it's so primal. It's
under
great.
the lights at night.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
whoa!
Come on!
What?
Finish it up.
Oh, so high. Oh,
Wow.
Man.
holy! I thought she was
I
gonna
thought
finish
she
it.
had a shot at that.
As soon as you like get above the knees and you can like scoop your knees underneath it and stand it up. Oof.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
she's right there. She's
Yeah,
got that.
I mean,
Yes.
phenomenal lift.
I would say she has that one. Wow.
Well, you know, let's see. Looking at her supposed stats.
I mean, she seems excited about that. Look
Yeah, I
at that.
was
Like, she's
gonna say.
not
Yes.
disappointed in that lift.
Time to up her stats here, which had her listed
Yeah.
at 345.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oops.
Man, good for her.
This is a fight right here. I mean, every part of her
I
central
just want
nervous
those knees
system
to
is-
go
Just
under.
Scoop. Yeah.
What a great lift from
nice.
Paige. That's
Wow.
awesome.
A heavy lift, but that bar never slowed down. It kept moving.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up.
Are they going to 2 platforms? Yeah.
I missed Laura's lift on that round. I
was
saw her
fast.
and she was walking away.
Yeah.
It was so fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Between lifts, if you've got, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 minutes, whatever it's shaking out to, are you just plop down on the ground and sit there? Is it a couple air squats every now and then to kind of stay loose?
I don't think I would do air squats. I would walk around a little bit right after. I would walk around a little just to like calm the nervous system and make sure the blood is flowing just to like recover from the lift. And then I would probably sit down for like a minute and then I would stand up again to just like shake the legs and make sure I'm like
The old leg
ready.
shake. The leg
Yeah.
shake means go time.
Now, how much of the field are you paying attention to in an event like this? And what I mean by that is, I saw the tail end of Laura's lift and she's walking away like it's another day at the office. Part of me has to think that that's psychological, like, oh yeah, just whatever,
yeah.
no big deal. As a competitor, like I know some people are hyper focused on what's going on around them. They're always aware, and others seem kind of aloof. Like, where do you guys fall when you're out there on the
So
field?
I would like, on a snatch event, I try not to look at other people lifting because I
Okay.
don't like seeing them fail lifts. Like
Oh,
I hope
you
they're
don't want
gonna
that in
get the
your
lift,
head.
but I just don't want to see failed lifts.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
However, on like grindy lifts like that, I think it's perfectly fine to watch it. And I actually get kind of like, I don't know, I get kind of like fired up when people are like fighting. I'm like, I
Caught
don't
up
know,
in the moment.
Yeah,
So you can use that.
I'm a little bit like, and I guess I think if you see me lifting, I'm like a little, it doesn't look like I'm super focused. And I think that usually helps me. Just like, don't overthink it. I'm also like that in training. Kat can attest to that. I'm like, put on a little sign that I can wiggle
Yeah.
to
And
and
it just
sing a
needs to be
little. And I'm
Annie.
like,
That's
let's
how
just
she
not
performs
think
the
and let's
best.
just move the bar. Like I focus in warm up, and once the heavy loads are on there, it's like, don't think. But what about you?
I think I'm very just like focused on myself, and like I do think if it's just a lifting, I very much like just mind my own business. I feel like
Yeah.
I don't love for the same reason I don't like seeing. Not that it's bad movement or missed movements. I don't want that in my head before I go out. So snatches, I think I pretty much just like I like sitting down and just like thinking about my next lift. But there's also events like intervals and stuff where I actually like okay, if there's like the 2, 2, 2, 3
Yeah,
or any
let's
kind of like
see how people
I'll
are
look.
doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how are
Who's
you
falling
carrying
apart,
yourself?
who's
like
still fresh.
how are you feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I actually will, and that can actually feed me, or vice versa, But you try and like take that and like, okay, use that for the next interval.
Annie, pardon me because my brain is turning to mush. I can't remember exactly the year of the event went up, but where was it that I could just picture in my head you hitting the snatch that you must have thought you had no shot at,
21.
and you sat there and the smile hit your face.
That was
What
one of
was
my
that?
favorite
What,
moments.
Greatest moment.
what year? What was it?
2021. So it's the year after I had Freya.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
I had not lifted that much in training. It took me a lot longer than Tia to get my strength back. I was so messed up.
That shootout was one of the greatest. I'm serious. That was one of the greatest ends to a lifting event in games history, though. Like that shootout between you and her was so
The
good.
surprise that came, like, I got it.
Oh, I know as soon as I have it overhead, like I'll stand it up. It's the same with clean. As soon as I clean it, I'm like, oh, I know I can always jerk it. So sometimes I like stop focusing and I'm like almost celebrating before I finish. But yeah, I really surprised myself that year.
That was, I held it overhead for an extra second. Like, yep, that just happened. Oh, Finn, lock it, lock it.
Oh, was it just one leg? She got it.
Yeah, wow. That's a lot of effort on that last
like
little bit,
four
though.
deadlifts that just happened.
Yes.
And they're only going up by 5 pounds now.
Yeah,
too, so
I
they're
think post a
inching
certain, yep.
up.
I think that's a very good thing. That frustrated me last year with the log lift. Was that they had the
big
jumps too big for too long because
and
there
too
were like
many people went out at the same time.
7 athletes out at the same time. It's like, and then the tiebreaker was like running with a bag, so it's like all of a sudden you weren't testing the lift. Nice, Lauren.
It's still moving so well for Lauren.
So fast.
Is she going again?
Talk about making it look like another day at the office.
Yeah,
I mean,
all right, see you later.
Here
Catch
we go,
you on the
Gabby.
next one. Oh, come on.
yeah, well done, well done.
But I feel like they changed the weight at the right time. When they got to top 10, now it's 5-pound increments. That's kind of cool.
It's also just the way that so many people are going to start falling off, and you don't want all of them to be in the same bracket.
Yeah.
I mean, this is working out to be quite the story right there.
Beautiful.
The two of them
are
lift for
so
lift. Look at that. See, that's what I'm talking about. Just, it doesn't even bother me.
She's always got her game face
She's like
on.
that. I have
what weight on the bar?
Zero game face. Zero game face. I'm like, my emotions, I was an emotional person. And after having a kid, I'm even more of an emotional person, but like, I cannot hide shit.
No, I don't think you should try, though. If it's not you, you can't,
right.
you know what I mean?
You
Don't
can't
force
fake it.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that was earned right there.
Yeah, that last little bit.
Wow.
So
there you
so
go.
fast.
My goodness.
So fast.
All right, see you next time.
Yep. Catch you at 385.
Yeah, right?
I think there, for example, if I finished my lift that easy, I probably would have looked over and like watched Tia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Right.
That would have
Whatever
been
you
me.
can do.
But
Yeah.
like,
Stare down.
Yep.
It's right in the eyes.
like, oh, was that heavy for you?
Yeah.
No.
That's cute.
That's cute. Not that it looked very heavy for her.
No.
I'm very impressed with Tia right now. The numbers she's hitting on the deadlift right now is, I already feel like she's won with this weight. Like, I think that's beautiful. Like, it's absolutely, I don't think you realize it's absolutely insane 6 months postpartum to be pulling that weight. That's impressive.
I mean, you don't have to convince me. I am blown away. Like,
Uh-huh.
right from the get-go, the that first event on Thursday evening.
Yes.
I mean, how,
started it off with a banger.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. I mean, she was so far ahead.
Gabby was pretty close to her. There were like 2 of them.
But I mean, she was not
fair.
in danger of losing first place,
Yeah.
is what I mean.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it was
That's
not,
true.
like,
Yeah.
if
It
Gabby
wasn't
was
a
pushing
sprint
her,
to the finish.
she could have
yes.
pushed the pace if she had to.
Very true.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Not
Yeah.
that there was like a huge physical distance, but
I always
don't think-
love that on Danny, like girls who eat.
Yeah.
I just, yes, send that message.
A motto you can get behind.
Yes.
Wow. Is that Paige Powers?
Boom.
No.
Who was that?
it was Danny and Kira, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. That looked easy for her.
So easy.
I don't think
It looked a
Danny's
little
gonna
harder
win
for
this
Danny
one at
than I
max.
thought. Yeah.
I don't think so either. No, I think she's, like we were talking about, I can't remember if we were talking
On
before we
camera or
got,
off.
yeah, but we were saying that I think she's a stronger squatter
Yes,
than
I
puller.
believe so too.
Yeah.
And we still haven't seen a struggle from
Well,
Lauren
she still
Fisher.
did so incredible. Yeah, but she still did so incredible in the sandbag event. Like,
Oh, right.
as
Yeah,
I had
that was
no
so
idea.
Wow.
Ooh, she bumped.
Man,
Great
that
job.
was
So easy.
amazing.
Yeah.
She is so surprisingly
Wow.
strong.
Yes. Nice.
I think it's
So
a
we're
good
at
tunes going.
385.
Oh.
Can you complete
Math?
for me
Yeah,
for the
got
European
it. Got it, man.
fellows?
No worries. 385 divided by 2.2. We're looking at 175 even.
Okay.
175 kilos.
And if I just did a little napkin counting there. I think this is the 10th round. So this is 10
Wow.
lifts deep. That's a lot.
That's a lot of heavy
Oh,
volume.
dang. Neither one. I guess this is where we start
Yeah,
seeing the
we found a
fatigue
stick-
setting
We
in.
found a sticky point
Yeah.
here.
This is
Was
where
that-
I would be
Was that
like seeing if I would make it
Christine?
through this one.
Okay, this is the neighborhood, huh?
that
Yes.
was Colin Brander?
Yeah.
She missed.
She missed,
Wow,
yeah.
she's strong too.
So
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah, very.
Hey.
Let's go,
Man, the
Laura.
crowd is
Lauren.
fired up.
Whew. Oh,
Oh, Lauren.
Interesting. It was from
she's
like
so fast, and then all of a sudden it's like,
Right.
boom.
She's
It
so
is.
explosive,
Yes.
so if
Yeah.
it isn't fast,
hit a
it
number
doesn't
and it's
go
like
up.
the switch went off.
Yeah.
You see that sometimes, right? You have lifters that
Yeah.
they can keep grinding, and it almost looks like they're not going to make it much earlier, but they can keep going.
That's where I fall in. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's my squat will start looking heavy at 80 kilos, and
Right.
then I'm like, no, it will look the same for the next 40 kilos
Yeah.
or so.
That's
like,
the
But then
squat.
you have other athletes where it looks amazing,
Just like,
can't do it at all.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
Lined up next to each other. Here we go.
Wow.
Wow,
Nice.
both of them.
Lauren's finish, like that final open of the hip,
Yes,
is like
just-
Yeah,
fi-
past the knee.
It's fine.
Yeah, it looks a little heavier, like right up top for Tia, but it's moving
Yeah.
so well for
It's
both of them.
moving well. But yeah, it's been looking heavier on Tia for a while.
Yeah.
Not
she-
heavy, just heavier.
Yeah, I'm curious how much of that is gamesmanship from Laura, or if she's actually got the upper hand. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That'll be fun to
But
watch.
just as we saw with Lauren, though, like we don't
Right,
know, like
exactly.
what's gonna happen.
Yep.
I think it's so crazy that Laura has the overhand grip.
I
it
know,
has to
I
be a hook
agree.
grip. She
Yeah,
has
oh,
to be
it's
using a hook.
oh, it's 100% then
Yeah.
hook grip. Like, yeah. And that means it kind of has to be a female bar. It would be hard to hook grip
Yeah.
a male bar.
Yeah, I'm sure I would assume they did that.
Oh, we're moving to the single bar now.
I hope we get a little zoom in closer shot than you have me.
That'll be nice too,
Well,
because
who's
sometimes when
left?
two's going at a time, I like miss one of the lifts. We'll get to see all of them now.
Yeah.
So who's left? We know Tia and Laura are in.
Yeah.
We're moving
Spiegel, Gazan,
Gazan.
and Kira.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, amazing.
It's been looking light on Kira.
And-
I think
really
Spiegel is this round or next round. I think she might be
Yes.
Yeah.
But Alex
Agree.
Gazan looked amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yes, she
gosh.
did.
Yeah.
She looked great.
out. Man, Kira might be the wild card in this one. She might come
Yeah.
out and disrupt some things here.
Yeah.
And nobody knew, yeah. Some people knew, I'm guessing.
Yeah, moving on
I
to the
didn't know.
barbell.
I
Yeah.
didn't
I'll claim
know.
ignorance on that one.
Got the center knurling wrapped in the Texas flag there.
It is-
Oh, look at that. We see that over there.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say, it is so fun to have like that little party trick up in your pocket that like people don't know that she's such a great deadlifter, and then you actually get to come out and like
Surprise.
showcase it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, ladies, I'm still here.
Yeah. Guess what? I can deadlift.
I would love to be able to surprise everybody one year at the games with a like squat event. I'm like, guess what? I'm still here. Miss Longlegs is still squatting. It's slow and grindy, but
I'm here.
yeah.
That's beautiful looking deadlifts, that bar and those plates.
The old Lone Star.
That is the most fun when you're just one
Single
in front of
focused.
everyone and you're like, all right.
Everyone in
Using
this entire place is
everything.
looking at me right now.
Yes. like my heart rate is starting to go up watching this.
But while it might stress me out, these are the moments you crave.
Oh, yes. These are the moments where you get to show how hard you've been working.
Yeah, yeah.
Looks like she's got some leg drive.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Man.
She knew right away. As soon as
Yeah.
she started
Yeah.
moving, you could tell
Yeah,
on her face.
smiling.
Broke
like,
off
I
the
got it.
ground real
Yeah,
nice.
you need to just get it up, and then it's there.
So happy.
Again, how far strength has come. You know,
Yeah.
5 or 10
Yes.
years ago, there was like rumors that one of the women might have a 400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. And now it's like, here we are lining up in the final bar. We're at 390.
I'm starting to think we won't see a lot more than like 405 though.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. We may not need to.
No.
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh, that looked better than
man.
the last
Oh,
one.
it looked better than the
Yeah.
last
Yeah, I agree.
That was
Push.
fast off the floor.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was. I think Spiegel also responds well to that center.
Yes.
Here we go, let's do
Yeah.
this
Yes.
one person at a time.
She knows how to use the crowd.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, are you kidding
So
me?
easy.
That was
Holy
so
cow.
good. Beautiful.
Could be looking at your winner right there if you keep that
Yes.
speed up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And she's another one of the, like, she's so young compared to the field. I mean, she's what, 21?
Yeah,
maybe?
She
she's
is
so young.
22,
22, okay.
two
yeah.
times at the games. This is her first time at Rogue.
Laura, waiting in line for an acai bowl or about to deadlift 390? I don't know. Could go either way. Yep.
Well done.
Smooth, very smooth.
Wow.
I will
Yeah.
say she's a little slower off the
Yep.
floor, though. She's
Yeah.
slowing
But it
down a
still
little
doesn't
bit.
look hard.
Look at all
on
the
her.
emotion.
Right.
Hey, Tony, rein it in for me a bit here.
Don't get carried away.
Yeah.
I love watching Tia compete because you can see her flip the switch into comp mode.
Yes.
You know? That's great.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
Amazing.
yeah.
Gotta get it.
Well done.
Notice she's the only one not using a weight belt
Yeah.
lifting.
She brings it. If somebody else lifts a bar, I
Yes.
feel like
Competitor.
you do it, I do it.
Yep.
And she
Yeah.
just responds to it.
Wow.
Moved so well.
Man, that was fast
I
off the
was
floor,
so
though.
fast.
My
Cozy.
goodness.
That's still like, I think that's such like a beautiful lift from Laura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just
So
this,
steady.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
so steady, just the same pace throughout.
Yeah, there was no hitch, no pause.
The back seemed to be just like, even the upper back, it was just, yeah, she's so stacked.
Yes. It was slower, but it was like perfect form, no
Strong.
slowing down,
Yeah.
consistent speed.
Okay, so nobody
Wow,
fell
they
out in that
all
round.
made it.
Top
No.
five still moving on. Wow.
So annoying
Yeah.
for the
As a
others
competitor, like, come on,
competing. It's
somebody's gotta fall off.
Like at least one, come on.
Yes. Give me something for this lift.
But then all of a sudden it might be that 5 pounds makes 3 of them break.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is true. Even though if one falls out, you know that's 5 points for you.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
there was 0 points had in that round.
Yeah, that's a good point. All that
Yeah.
work for 0 points to a degree.
0 extra
to a degree.
points, yeah. Wow.
Man.
Oh, that was better than before.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That was better than previous lift. I didn't think she would get this lift, but that was better than previous.
Oh my God, the next bar she is gonna lift is gonna be 400 pounds.
395 pounds in the bar right now, the old kilos.
180?
177.
179.5.
Ooh, we're
Hey.
getting there.
What we're here for is to see this kind of shootout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I just love it. I mean, every single one of them looks like, I got more in me.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's at risk of falling apart yet. Like, it just, I love it.
That must be so frustrating for the other
Wow,
girls.
she doesn't
though.
mess around. As soon as
There
she
we
touches the
go.
bar, it's go time.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah, that didn't look that bad. Look at that huge celebration.
A little casual fist bump. Just
Just a Terminator.
polite, yeah.
Terminator robot.
a champ-to-champ fist bump right there.
She will celebrate as soon as she wins.
Yes.
That's where she takes it. All right.
Wow.
Amazing.
Man.
She is such a winner right now. Like,
Yep.
this is freaking me out.
And
This
her
is
too.
insane what she is doing.
Not even like allowing herself to be happy for a moment. Just right back to business. We're at the office right
There are
now
still
doing some
bars
work.
to be
Yep.
lifted.
We're still at work.
I'm sorry, I would finish the lift and be like, woo! Yes, thank you.
Everybody
I-
saw that, right? Everybody
Yes.
saw that lift.
was
Did you
me.
see what I just did right now? Are they done? Did they all stay in a second round?
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
impressed
Falling
by
off
these
yet.
women. We're about
I
to
mean,
go to a
we're-
cool 400 pounds
just
right
an
now.
even 400. No big deal.
Woo!
Awesome.
For sure, somebody's gonna beat my 405 prediction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
181.8.
Oh my God.
Yeah, sorry, Katrin. I think you lost
Oh,
that
yes,
prediction.
yeah.
The way these ladies
It's
are
moving
lifting.
too well.
Yep. I'll tell you what's fun too. This is, you know, on a personal level. My wife is absolutely losing her mind right now. I can totally assure you, she is like the biggest fangirl.
Oh.
And I can tell you she's sitting in the stands, and when I go see her later, she's going to be hoarse. Her voice is going to be shot. She's going to be
That's so
screaming her
fun
head
when you
off of these.
lose your voice
Oh,
because
yeah.
you're so
Yes.
excited
Yep.
for what's happening on the floor.
Was that a little pump
I
up
would
on
thought we
the,
looked like some
on the
old
pumps?
school
Was that-
Reebok pumps or something. That's amazing. Oh,
my
fight,
God, my God, my God.
Oh, man, I
what?
thought she was gonna
so
get
hard.
that.
She done it.
I know.
She already put in all the work.
Oh, man. I would have bet that she finished that.
Me
I thought she was
too.
gonna
I
get
thought
it.
she was past the hardest
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
It's like when you see someone fail a squat, like
Yes.
when they're above parallel, I'm like,
That's the easy part.
wow.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Good on her. Talk about a fight. She gave it everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
And who knows, it might have been a grip.
Yeah. True.
You know, like,
Yeah.
who
Maybe,
knows?
True.
maybe that extra pump was too
I
much.
didn't even
you
think
know?
about that.
Save that for the lift.
Oh my
Are
God.
you kidding me?
Wow, wow.
She keeps getting better.
It's
I
crazy.
know.
It's so fast from the floor, and then it's just like bounce.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
bounce.
that I think is psychological warfare. Where her lifts before at like 375, where she's kind of grinding, and now she's just bam,
She
right
was
to
just
it.
warming up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it.
Hey, you know, I really need to get 400 plus before I feel it on
Wow.
the bar.
Oh.
Her heaviest deadlift is 420.
Wow. Okay.
Oh. Okay, so she can also
Based on
she
that
can also
lift.
pull.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
She's incredible.
Amazing.
She is an absolutely
That's so
amazing
cool.
deadlifter.
Wow.
I think at this point they should just start allowing them to pick their weights.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
let
It's
her
called
bump
the
it up
shot.
for her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Supposedly, based on the stats, that matches her PR.
I don't
That did
believe
not
it.
look like a
Yep.
PR
That did
lift
not
right
look
there.
PR. She's gonna PR tonight.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
What what would be interesting if you would ever integrate into it that you can take the chance to skip a bar. That would be interesting. Nice.
Still, just
Nice work. Nice work.
I don't know what it is, but I really like her lift.
Yeah, it reminds me of the roller coaster where, it like latches. Once it gets to a certain point, it doesn't go back down. It's just right all the way up.
It all moves in unison. Annie, I actually don't think you'd want to skip a lift because you'd be resting for so long.
Well, so I was also thinking that you would either rest for too long or you would be messing it up for someone else if they wouldn't get the same amount of break because they'd be skipping you out.
Maybe you take the hit so they get less rest, yeah.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't work for TV and all of that, but like.
Oh, let's see it, Tia.
Nice.
Wow.
My God, Tia.
400.
Man.
This is absolutely absurd. This is amazing.
How many lifts deep are we now? I mean, this is what,
It's been
round
going
12
for,
or 13?
What was it, 305?
Yeah.
And when do they go to the 5?
75, I think after 75. So
She's
305,
happy.
15,
Smiling,
25, 35.
tiny smirk.
Did you say baby smirk?
Tiny smirk.
13th lift.
13
right there.
lifts
If
in,
my
more or less?
finger math is
13
correct.
Right,
lifts
more or
in.
less.
Lucky 13
That's
for
a
a cool
heavy
400.
Wait, let's
in
see
the
if it
gym.
was the grip. I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
a
the grip.
lot of
No.
attention.
Oh, just so high.
Yeah.
And ups a daisy.
So fast.
And then it's like, wow.
Let's
It's
get a little
so
shrug
funny.
at the top.
Yes.
Why not work the traps a little?
Okay, so now we have 4 left. So,
Okay, predictions. Who's out next?
I'm
Ooh.
going to say Tia.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
was
Tia
kind
or
of leaning
Laura.
that way
I
as
think Tia or
well.
Laura are out next.
Laura's not out yet.
I think Danny and Alex Kazan are going to be top 2.
Yeah, they're going to be top
Yeah.
two.
Makes a lot of
That's
sense.
going to be a great showdown if that happens.
Yeah. Who do you say is going to be out next?
I'm going to say Tia's going to go before Laura.
I'll play it just to keep it interesting. I'll say Laura's out
Well,
next.
you
Yeah.
said Laura, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, judging by how they looked, I'd say Tia. But like you said, there's those athletes that every lift you're like, no, you're not even going to get 5 pounds more. Oh, you did.
Yes,
oh,
yes,
you're
I
done
did.
now. Oh, you
And
got
she's
it again.
been a little
That's
bit like
true.
that for a while.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yep.
think true to form, Laura's poker face belies how heavy it's getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think she's good at keeping it under wraps, but
Yeah.
it's getting close.
I don't know. It might be so wrong to bet against Tia on like a
Yeah,
pro
she's right.
You
showdown,
should, like,
1 against
never
1.
bet
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
her.
Yep.
But
fair enough.
Gazan,
It's always stupid to do that.
I'm having
but-
doubts.
Gazan's been
Well,
the
I'm just
sleeper.
already so blown away what she's been capable of doing
Yes.
that I'm like, it's already like almost shouldn't be possible.
Let's see if Spiegel gets
It's
even
so cool.
faster.
Yes.
Right?
Like she's going to pull a power clean or something.
Power
Yeah.
clean it.
We're at 405 on the bar right now. 184 kilos.
I think it'll be fast up and then 2 swings.
Yeah, 2 little scoops.
Start betting on how many swings, how many scoops.
Oh,
My
it just
goodness.
it
I
was
mean,
so fast.
she'll stay here as long
That
as
is
you want to keep the
incredible.
lights on.
Okay, I think she is going to win the event. I think Alex Kazan will take
Like, that's
second.
it.
Yeah.
The speed is crazy.
It's ridiculous. My God.
So funny too because right before the event, it looked like she took like a big XL, like she's pretty tired.
Yeah.
And then it just pops up there.
But Gazan's got a great chance of walking away with 95 points.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
It's moving.
Wow. I mean,
That's smooth, too.
Beautiful. Just beautiful.
I like that, too, how Laura is right up, chalking up before Gazan's even off the platform. She's
Yeah.
like right there. She's like, hey, give it to me. Let's just go right now.
Yeah, hand me the barbell.
Yep, getting to
Wow.
that knee was a little slower.
Yeah.
No big deal. See, I think she's keeping it together, but I think she's close.
This is why I can never be a competitor. When it's heavy for me, you're going to know about it. It's written all over my face. I'm shaking. My eyeballs are bulging out of my head. She's just...
A little stagger step in there.
I mean, crazy.
I'd probably walk away and be like, that was heavy, man.
Let's see if we're right about Tia. Will this be the bar?
I'm really hoping she'll get it.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. Well, there you go.
That was so impressive, though.
Still,
yeah.
that is like
Katrin, you called it.
incredible.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
I'm
amazing.
to take what she took 4th in this event. It's
it's
crazy.
insane. Like insane.
Yeah, she's got to be
now,
ecstatic about that.
And now in her head, Laura's going, okay, I'm 10 points behind you.
Yeah.
She just
There's
got to
3
do
of us
one
left.
more.
Well, she's 5 points behind now, no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But can she tie?
Yeah.
Yep.
She'd have to, win the event to actually surpass?
Well,
pass
no,
her.
I think she'd need to get one more person between her and Tia.
Only
Right? Because
one
I think the
more.
points table's going
Yeah.
down by 5s.
Yeah.
Or at least
But then,
at
no,
the
then they're
top
equal,
it is.
right?
Right, yes.
Yeah.
So to tie, Laura needs one more person between her and Tia.
Yeah.
Overall on points.
Okay. 3 to go.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, can Laura outlift Alex or Danny?
I don't think
know.
so.
I don't think so
There was a
either.
little shake in there,
Yeah,
and
that
Alex
slowed
is
down
looking
quite a bit.
so fast and so smooth.
I think as long as Alex gets it off the floor, she will get it.
Lauren would, Laura would never let you know. I'm sure she looked at those other 2 women ahead of her and was like, dang it.
Yeah.
And Danny, I think it's just gonna go until
Oh
the
my
others are
goodness,
done.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
She's
just
like, how
gonna
long do you
lift
want to do this?
One more barbell. Everybody's finished. I'll do one more.
After seeing her with the sandbags,
Oh,
Yeah.
again, it's like, oh, come on. This is preposterous.
Okay, how cool was it though how she went over and slid under? I was just like,
Did you guys see the videos that she posted? She looked so athletic. It was
Yes.
actually really cool.
Yeah,
It's a very cool video.
Unrelated. I mean, it was really fun to see Rich out there doing that too. I don't know, did you guys catch that?
No.
He was baseball sliding underneath that log. It was very, very cool. I mean,
Nice.
different event, obviously different field, but also very cool to see him.
Oh, I wanted
Still
to
an
do
athlete.
that.
I know. Yeah, it would have been a lot of fun. Okay, let's see it.
This could be the separator right here. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
3. That was 3 scoops. It was heavier on her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
little
That was
hitch.
heavier.
First time she didn't gain speed.
But
Yeah.
she is so strong past the knees. Like,
Yes.
I mean, to get that to that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
From the ground to that,
And that is obviously going to be the hardest part.
410 pounds.
They're closing in on 415.
yeah.
186.3
That was what you said, right?
Yeah.
kilos.
Yeah, I think you might be right, because I think Danny is going to lift that at least.
I think she'll get
The
this.
question is, does she have to? Yep. There you
Yow,
go.
yow, yow, yow. Look
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Great
clearly
job.
heavier, but still not like a major
Still so
issue.
good, though.
They're
I
crazy.
don't know if it was that much heavier on her than Danny.
Yeah.
I love that Danny's also not hiding that she's tired right now.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Okay, let's see
You
if she
think
can
she's
get
gonna
it.
get it?
I do not.
I think I'm with you, Kat. I don't think she gets this one. She's slowed down the last couple lifts. I think this might be it.
We'll see.
There it is. Yep.
She just keeps moving.
Amazing.
Yes.
There was a smile at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Okay, that's
Okay,
the biggest
first reaction.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I noticed that one.
I think she's topping
Nice
out.
grind. I think that might have been her last lift.
Yes. I think so too. It will suck if she doesn't get any points for that lift though.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
So much work, right?
So what, do we know what the tiebreaker is? Do you know?
I don't think there is
I don't
one.
think there is
Oh, there
one.
isn't? Okay, they just give them the same points.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now it's just a question if both of them are going to get another lift in, and I think they will.
Yeah.
I think they'll get one more.
Yep.
I think both of them will get the next bar.
Yeah, I do too. I don't think Laura does, though. That was
No.
pretty slow off the ground.
Yeah.
Although, hey, I was wrong about this one. I was like,
So
this one, the last one was slow.
I just heard there's actually a tiebreaker that occurred before the event.
Oh.
A jug
okay.
carry has already occurred that was the tiebreaker, so it's already been predetermined. It doesn't even
Really?
have
That's
post-event.
cool.
What was it? Like for
Jug
time
carry,
or
like
something?
running probably.
Do we know the results of that tiebreaker?
Ran from one end to the other.
No, but do we know the results of it? Like between these three, do we know who would shake out on top
Oh.
if they were to all fail this next
We'll
lift?
see if that little piece of information floats into my head.
Okay.
And it was so heavy, and then I decided to just rip it off the ground, you know?
Yeah.
Why not?
Did Laura just change her belt?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking that too.
Ooh. I'd be nervous to
I'd
change
be
for
really nervous to change
a
that.
last lift and
This
the
is
heaviest
a
lift.
good night to be in the women's heat, right? Because the guys still got to go, so you can just
Oh
head
my
home after
goodness,
this and
yeah.
cut out a couple hours early.
Yeah, that can be super hard, especially because these events are like, they're under the bright lights. There's so much energy to them.
Yep.
And to
It's
then
hard to
have
go to sleep right
yes, it is so, and I don't know what time they're going to be coming home, probably close to 10. They're going to have to eat, they're going to have to shower, they're going to wind down, and it's a pretty early morning tomorrow. I think it starts at like 9:30.
It's the same for all of
Yes,
them.
yes.
It's not two heats. They all need to stay and
Yeah.
be there.
But they probably go first tomorrow too. Think about it.
Oh yeah, the boys probably go first
They're
tomorrow.
good. At least all of the boys get less sleep, but
Yeah, it's the same for them all.
Yeah, however it shakes out, it's
yes, yeah.
fair. Casually strolling up there.
I love that she's just like, oof.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then she lifts it so fast.
415 pounds, the loading
Right,
that was
Annie.
chatted about earlier in the program.
Look at how great those steel plates look, too. I mean, once we get up there and weigh, look at them. They look great.
Let's go.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my goodness, come on.
Okay.
My God.
How fast is it to the
So
knees though?
quick.
It's so funny.
You were right, 415.
Wow.
But yeah, it flies to the knees.
Yes. Whoosh.
Did she win the log event last year? at the
Yes.
Yeah,
Invitational? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Are you kidding
that was also
me?
better than her last time. That
Yes.
Agreed.
I'm
That was
so
stronger
impressed.
than previous lifts.
Yeah.
Yes.
was for sure.
Whoosh. How cool is that?
I'm so impressed with her.
So if Laura, I've got a question for you guys. If Laura, let's say she doesn't make this lift and it's between Gazan and Danny, and you're a competitor and you're like, okay, I don't think I can beat Danny. Like, how far do you push that? Or do you
Yeah.
just have basically an unspoken agreement where you're like, okay, well, I'm going to let you take this one and I'm going to fail this
No.
lift and that's it?
I don't think you would ever
You don't
do
think
that.
so?
Well,
Nope.
if both of them would be just like snapping it from the floor, but it doesn't look.
Oh,
Whoa.
boy, she's still in
Wow,
the fight here.
are
Yeah,
you
Laura.
kidding me?
Amazing. Yes.
Oh, nice.
God.
Oh, she's stoked about that. too.
Everyone's
That's
in
great.
at 415. Let's put some more weight on the bar.
Okay, we're up in the last
So I think
20.
they just
Go.
I think that just answered my question.
Right, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
well, you're gonna go for it because you're a
Yeah.
competitor.
Yes.
So like even though I think she knows it looks at least much heavier on her than Alex and Danny, I just as a competitor, you cannot just give
You push
somebody,
'em.
you can't
push
give
'em.
points.
Yeah.
You'll
Yeah.
Because
never.
you also know that like it might happen that just all of a sudden you just don't
Yeah.
have it.
And
Sure.
also it's just one
Yeah.
of those things like, okay, you want to beat me? Like I'm gonna make you work for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta earn it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Moving to 191 kilos.
But I also have to say, me as a competitor, if I would have fallen out like where Tia fell out, I'd be like, I hope they go as far as possible.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like push each other.
Yeah,
Cheer 'em up.
Put
Keep
yourself
going,
into that
ladies.
hole.
Yeah, let's go.
Yep.
You got this.
8 more
Believe in
lifts.
yourself.
That deadlift, man. Oh.
Yeah, it's incredible. If she can get it moving at all, she can keep it moving.
I know.
Wait, this wasn't this lift though. They showed a clip of another lift because she
Really?
was wearing the
Oh.
leather
The bigger,
belts.
thicker belt.
Yeah.
Whoopsies.
Sorry, I shouldn't have pointed that out.
Good eye, Annie.
420 on the bar. That was the limit I said.
After, 15 heavy deadlifts at 90%, you need a drink of water.
Yep.
Thank you.
And I mean, I think something that goes unspoken with something like this too is just the sustained effort. Not that you're under strain the whole time, but I mean, how long have they been at bat here? An hour? More than?
I just heard it was Spiegel, Gazan, Horvath from best to worst for the tiebreak. Spiegel,
Really?
Okay.
Gazan, Horvath.
Wow.
Okay.
But I mean, they've been on, quote unquote, for at least an hour
Yeah,
now.
it's
Like that
Yeah,
is
what time is it now?
mental toll.
I feel like I've been
It's
here
been
with you guys
almost 2
forever.
hours.
Not 2
hour and a half. Hour and a half.
Not quite. I think maybe an hour and 15, something like
Yeah.
that. But still, I mean, that's a long time to have your head in the game.
All right, sprint to the knees.
Yeah.
Oh,
There
Wow.
it is. Oh, she's having trouble with that lockout,
Is,
though.
Yeah, she is.
Interesting, interesting.
man.
That lockout looked pretty
Hard.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think that is, though? Is that an upper back strength that's lacking if she can't get the lockout?
Can't
I
get her
think
hips through.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not saying it's wrong because I know the strongest deadlifters, they let their backs go. She's doing that from the very beginning. I think it's going to be really hard from that position
Oh,
to like finish
true.
opening.
wow.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Yeah, she might win.
Oh my gosh.
She might
that was
establish herself as the top deadlifter
very
here.
cool.
That's insane.
Woo.
Danny's like, dang it.
It's like, oh.
Gotta go
I'll
again.
give you a fist bump. I'll give you, but
She has such
come
good
on.
attitude, though. Like, that was
Yes.
her top competitor right there. And she's like, you know what? You looked amazing out there. Good for you.
Yeah.
This is so heavy.
There we go. Get behind your champ there, people. Let's go. Oh, come on. Let's do it. Oh, I thought she had it.
I was starting to think she was going to grind
Wow.
for
Me
it.
too. After the past 2 lifts, I'm like,
Yeah.
Right.
You know what? I think she will.
Man, impressive.
Incredibly impressive.
Very
Okay,
cool.
so that's a third place for her. So she's
Yep.
5 points up. 5 points closing the
5
gap
points.
on Tia. So
Yeah.
Tia will still retain the lead.
Got ourselves a shootout here.
Oh, I think they get to choose now, maybe.
What were the, Pat, do
I
you have the
think
points
they're
going
going
into
up
this?
by just 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
10 points separated.
Yeah, okay, so still, wow. Yeah, that lockout, I don't know. Gazan was looking pretty confident.
Yeah, she was. Between the two, I think Gazan looked better. I mean, they're both
Yep.
Yeah,
astonishingly
yeah, I agree.
strong.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is exactly.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, more to
But
come.
very different deadlift techniques,
Yes, very
though.
different.
Yeah.
I feel delirious. I think that's what I heard one of them say.
Tighten it up a little bit.
After you.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at, what,
Yeah, I wanna
16
see.
lifts now? 17 lifts?
Okay, so Gazan has to beat
Amazing.
her, though, because if they tie
Yeah.
on weight,
It
yeah.
sounds like that's what you were saying earlier, right? Is
Yeah.
that we know Spiegel has the tiebreak already. So she's
Oh,
got
yes.
that mental advantage that as long as I can
Yes.
stay in the mix.
4 1/4. Is that what it said? 4.25.
Yep. See that lockout? This is what.
Oh, man.
She rolled to the toes.
Okay.
The door is open.
One more deadlift.
I would have bet the house that Danny would win this event.
Okay,
so if all of a sudden Alex Kazan is the top deadlift, that's pretty awesome.
So I have never been in this position, but I can imagine this being so cool that all she has to do is lift this bar and she
you win.
wins.
That's,
Yeah,
it's gotta
everyone's
do it.
on their
Oh,
feet
man.
now.
Oh, this is awesome.
Woo.
Come on, Alex, let's go.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, God.
What a statement.
That is
again.
And she
phenomenal.
looks pretty good doing that.
Oh, wow.
She had another round if she had to.
Yes.
That was
yes,
great.
she did.
How awesome.
Wow.
That was beautifully done.
She is so strong.
Man, that was great. That played out so well. I mean, just
She
that
just
top
did
5,
425. How many kilos is that?
all of them.
Is that
Yeah, right?
It's over 190 kilos.
190?
More than that.
193.1.
Wow.
That'll do.
That
Yeah.
will do.
And she looked phenomenal start to finish.
She knew she had it right away. I mean, that was,
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, I can't imagine lifting in that environment, right? Everyone's on their feet,
Yep.
center
Freaking
stage, at night, under the lights, standing on home plate, custom-made bar. Like,
Yep.
that's an amazing PR right there. That one will go down. That's going to be tough to replicate in training for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she'll be PRing her deadlift for a
Yeah.
while. At least not in training.
Man, that's phenomenal. Congratulations to her.
Wow.
Alex is on 425 pounds. I would so impressed him to beat Spiegel. I thought that was going to be untouchable.
That's amazing.
Horvath, Tia, I mean, everybody that you wanted to see throw down. Lauren Fisher looked so good for so long. That was a fantastic event.
So fun to watch.
And event day 3. And I believe Kiki is down there with your event winner, Alex Kazan.
Alex, congratulations on your event win. What an exciting show we had here. You PR'd multiple times. Were you expecting that out here tonight?
Kinda.
Do you feel like you had a little bit more in the bag, or did you leave it all on the line?
I don't know.
Maybe we'll find out another night. Normally when you're working this event or this deadlift at the gym, you're working with rubber plates. Rogue brought out the steel. What were the biggest differences that you noticed between those two things?
We weren't allowed to drop it. That was hard.
And what was it like to go up with Danny, you guys cheering each other on at the same time as being competitors?
It was awesome. She's so fun, and like that's what makes these experiences special. It was super fun.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Alex entered this event in 9th place with 275 points, but we'll see what happens after that because she just earned herself 100. And some incredible memories on top of that. It's going to be, we've still got the gentleman coming up, but that was more than I could have asked for on the women's side of the house.
Much more than we
It was
expected.
fantastic to have all 3 of you to get to watch the event and enjoy it with. Katrin, you know, now reflecting on it, what kind of stood out to you?
I just think it was fun to see, like these events, like I don't really get to see them. Normally I'm out on the floor and you're experiencing them in such a different manner. And now to get to see this from start to finish and just get to see, like, I love to get to witness, like when somebody responds to another lift of like, yeah, you lifted that? Okay, I'm gonna go lift that.
Yes.
And Andy, you were almost down there. You know,
Yeah.
where do you think you'd have shaken out in there?
Oh, it's so hard to say. I think I would have been happy with 170, 175 kilos. I have lifted 180 kilos, but not postpartum.
So that's
Gotcha,
about
yes.
400.
Yeah, that's closing in on, I don't know exactly.
She would have crushed
But-
it.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I would not have crossed it. I think it's like 390 or something. But I'm hoping with like, that's why it would have been really fun to do it because I haven't maxed out my deadlift after having Freya. So doing it here,
In that
you
environment.
actually get to max it out. Like you
Absolutely.
would do the real,
True max.
Yep.
your true max.
And the
yeah.
adrenaline and the crowd and the lights.
And Boz, you get to be a spectator.
Oh, it's so fun. I mean, I just, you know, like I said, fan first, Pat. So it's great to be able to just see it unfold. And I love the pacing of these types of events? I know that sometimes, you know, people love the sprint style, all action events, and those are great too. But for me, there's something cool about an event that takes an hour to unfold, and you can kind of see the gamesmanship.
Oh, yeah.
You can see the lifters from 1st to 15th lift, how they're doing, how they're sizing up their competitors. Like, something about that is really cool to me.
It was
so,
fantastic. So that was a great event. We've got the gentlemen coming up here very soon. For Katrin, Annie, and Adrian, I'm Pat Sherwood. This is the Tailgate Show. Don't go anywhere. Men's event number 6 coming up for too long. Welcome back, everybody, for more action from the Tailgate Show. It's day 3 of CrossFit competition. It is event number 6, max deadlift. We're already laughing and joking.
Look how small I look. This is perfect. It's a great screen.
You look great, Jason. You look fantastic.
You don't look like your water bottle.
That's the most perfect intro I could ever have. Standing all the way down the end of the table. Luckily, not making me look smaller than I already am. We got Brian Shaw, 4-time world's strongest man. Jason Khalipa, never been the world's strongest man, but has won the CrossFit Games. China Cho, multiple-year CrossFit Games athlete, been helping out with interviews and broadcasts all weekend long, and myself as well. We're going to have a blast watching the gentlemen lift some deadlifts here.
I just would like to acknowledge.
Enter. Go ahead. What do you got?
I just want to acknowledge the fact that you were wrong on the starting weight.
Oh, whatever people
I
whisper
said
in my ear.
440.
Yeah, well, whatever people whisper in my ear is what I'd say. I thought it was going to be 380.
Jason was very upset that he
Jason was
thought it
very
started
upset.
at 380.
Very
we were
upset.
having issues.
380. I mean, come on, guys. Like,
Right.
I told
What
him,
is it?
Alex,
What
because
is
I
this?
could have started
What is this,
with it.
2012?
yeah,
She crushed it.
Hey. 455. Ooh.
And so how this is going to work, as you can see on the screen here, you're going to have 4 lifters going at these weights. They're going to keep rotating through, going up by 10 pounds each lift.
10.
When they have enough failures that they're down to 10 athletes, they'll go to 2 platforms. And that will continue until they're down to the final 5. The final 5 will occupy that center platform that is on home plate.
So what you're saying is that we're going to be here for a little bit.
Get comfortable. Enjoy yourself.
He got his Crocs on. He is ready to go.
Get those
So
suckers
he
in
is
sport
comfy.
mode.
So let me just show you guys something. So these are Crocs, custom made, limited edition.
Just for
Rogue.
you?
Just for me. And I chose to wear these today because I was doing jiu-jitsu after my event. But are you familiar with sport mode?
Oh, well, I've got 2 kids, so yeah, I know sport mode with the Crocs.
Do you know sport mode, Brian?
No, I'm learning right now.
So
You're
here's the
educating
thing.
me.
This is like low-key mode.
Casual.
Casual. Sport mode is when you place this behind your heel.
Lock the heel in.
Then you're really ready to crush it.
Brian
So-
does not need sport mode. I'm pretty sure he's ready to crush anything without the modes.
Thank you for the tutorial there.
Yeah, you're good to
That's
go
great.
now. You're good
Very
to go.
good.
Great deadlifting shoes.
Yeah.
So speaking of deadlifting, we just have some guys lifting 455. Some people are choosing to use a mixed grip. Others maybe double overhand. What would you use, Brian?
I mean, at this weight, it would be a double overhand weight.
At this way to be one
He'll be like, I'm going to pinch it
Yeah.
and stand.
I had to stand for some amazing shows, which was so much fun for the strongman, but I had Dr. Bill Crawford next to me, then Jerry Pritchard's like an elephant bar world record holder in the deadlift. I got Brian Shaw down the end, and the gentlemen are talking about deadlifts, especially in the Tower of Power. And, you know, we're having a conversation, so they're kind. They're like, you know, they make eye contact and nod at me as if I'm in the conversation, and they're talking, you know, well, you're not going to belt up until it hits 800 pounds. And I'm like, right, you know, why would you ever belt up before 800?
You're just like,
I mean, we're just messing
You
around.
played into that
Yeah.
really well. It was perfect.
Oh,
It was perfect.
It was great.
Yeah.
so I don't know if you saw, but who's using double overhand the entire
Laura.
time?
Laura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harva, the entire time, and her movement was, I thought was
The best.
absolutely
Actually,
gorgeous.
technique-wise was stunning.
Like,
yeah.
and I'm
Well,
surprised.
Hook grip, right? Double
Yeah.
overhand with a hook.
I'm going
Probably,
to assume
yeah.
a hook
But
grip,
what-
yeah.
Which is still impressive. I mean, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
But I mean, without straps, you can't wear straps, right?
Yep.
No.
I'm really surprised she didn't switch to a mixed grip.
I would say so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, at least from what I've heard, they say that when you mix the grip, you can't engage like your lats as well on both sides, and then sometimes like you get that little bit of a lean with whatever side is the mixed side. I don't know. I'm not a good deadlifter.
Yeah.
I mean, so for us, when we're deadlifting, we're allowed to wear straps.
Right.
Right.
Right. And so in training, I would go double over, and then I would throw the straps on and stay double over, because when you do have a mixed grip, you can develop your back differently if you're using a mixed grip all the time. So when I did do that, because when I came into strongman, straps sometimes weren't allowed. So I did do max deadlift events with no straps, and then, you know, there's just been a whole change in mentality with that. It was like, okay, well, you put the straps in because we're testing the grip in other ways.
Right.
That's kind of the way it went. But I would always switch in training. So I would go over, under, right on top, left on bottom, and then I would change over. But once the straps came in, you can get in a position that's better. And for her, maybe it felt better because if your hook grip is strong, it's not going to go anywhere. So,
but I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, I was very shocked to see that.
Yeah.
I agree, man.
Like, I understand in training, I understand the lat engagement, but I mean, her grip broke. Like, you know, that's hard.
I think it's safe to say that most people would have preferred a mixed grip.
Yeah.
I think
Jason,
most
they
people,
gave you your own.
But
oh no, we're together.
Oh no.
No, now I'm making.
Oh no. Wait, now you and me are together.
Apparently the producers did not like us together.
You know,
I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it looked great.
I actually think, well, I liked it.
Sorry for sharing that.
Oh my goodness.
So what would your strategy be going into this? I mean, knowing that you're gonna have to execute so many different lifts.
And actually, Jason, what do you think your one rep is these days?
Right now? Well, okay, so let's talk about that. This is a great topic of conversation.
Okay.
Groundbreaking is that your deadlift, like, so for example, right now, if you're like, hey Jason, just go find your 1 rep max.
Okay.
I'm probably realistically high 400s, 500.
Okay, wow.
So because I did 405 for reps the other day.
Okay.
So let's just say I'm at, but
are you good at repping out or good at 1 rep max?
I could do a 1 rep max if I was prepared to
no.
take on the risk of injury. So let me explain. If I'm here and there's money, fame, whatever on the line.
Everything's on the line.
I'm going for it.
Right.
Leather belt, 5 inches, whatever I can, and I would just go for it. But if you asked me to do it right now, I wouldn't take that risk.
Yeah.
Right.
So you got your walking around deadlift.
Yep.
And then you got your under the stadium lights, the crowd's
right.
going crazy deadlift.
That's right. You accept some position fatigue because you're trying to win.
What's your walking around deadlift?
Let's go try it.
Yeah,
There's lots of weights back there.
Right now, 100%, 455.
Okay. In the tank, roll you out of bed at 1 a.m., you got 455.
I don't know about 1 a.m., but, you know, I hit my PR at a CrossFit tour one time, and it was because you had the crowd, and you had money, and you had whatever on the line. Maybe not the money. You know, you had ego. You had pride on the line.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't
You're
that
a
pretty.
failure, too.
It wasn't that pretty, you know? Hey, remember that video with Dave Castro's
Oh,
deadlift?
my God.
I wish we could clip that in here right now. So,
It would take
I
up the
think
rest
you
of the
should demo
show.
it. It'll take about 2 minutes, right?
what? Oh, yeah, we should. I don't know how we could put that on the show, but Brian, there was a time that me, this guy Dave Lipson, and Dave Castro, we were just like broing out, and we were doing what they call a CrossFit total. And Dave,
Chandler, that moved fast.
what's that?
Chandler moved that really fast.
Oh, dude, he's gonna crush
He's got a
this.
monster deadlift.
Yeah, like
Go on with the story. That's
this
a great
is light.
story.
I mean, this is lightweight.
He's like 630.
And so, Dave gets up on the bar, and like we're having like a straight up bro session and whatever, and he puts like 455 on or whatever, and I swear it's the longest deadlift in history.
It's like 37 seconds.
There's a clock that pops up, and he's just sitting there and just fighting for it, and it's like he starts fighting below his knee, and he's just sitting there, and he's just shaking.
Literally, it doesn't put it down. It's
37 seconds.
Dude.
No, it's absurdly long.
Sean,
That's
shockingly
ridiculous.
I'm gonna forward you the video when we're done.
All right, perfect. I would actually really like to see that.
I hope you have some time
Yeah.
and some patience.
Just get a drink and watch it.
You know, Jason, we've been friends for a while. This is, you know, in all my years of commentating with you, this won't be the harshest thing I've ever said to you, so I know you can take it. You're a monster, right? I thought you said your top end deadlift was around 5. I thought you'd be a little higher. I thought you'd be like mid-5s.
You mean when I'm competing?
I thought you were going to throw mid-5s.
Skill.
I thought you meant right
Look at
now.
that. Holy
You think you're on the floors around mid-5s?
No, you mean like then or now?
What's the then number? What's the now number?
My then number, I have hit like 570.
Okay, all right, that makes more sense in my head. Okay, gotcha.
I thought you meant right this
Gotcha.
minute.
Okay, that makes more sense. Gotcha.
Yeah, I've hit 570.
That I can see. Yep.
But
right.
now,
You had different parameters at that point in time.
yes,
yeah,
yes,
different
yes.
strike zone that you were working with.
yeah.
Brian, what do you deadlift? right now, walking around.
That's a perfect segue.
Yeah.
So in strongman competition, so if you include all different heights, 13 different years I pulled over 1,000 pounds. So that I was pretty consistent with the deadlift numbers. From higher, I pulled 1140 was the top end.
Like a couple inches.
So it was a 13-inch bar height. So
that's with a big wheel on it.
What's the regular bar height?
Like a standard was 1,021.
Wow.
Was the best that I did.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean in competition. So not a gym lift.
I'm not a super great with that. Is that with suit, without a suit?
No suit. All of those pulls.
Okay, I wasn't sure. See, I know that everyone says the suit because they could use it with the tower or
100.
power.
You're probably not going to find a guy that's more against the suits.
Okay.
I think strongman in general. We were actually talking about this during the deadlift event.
Very interesting.
I think
conversation,
strongman should be done without a suit.
I would agree.
It's not like you're walking around with the suit on all the time.
No. Because it's we're still talking functional strength, right? So you should be walking, put a belt on, lift, like that. So
I think a belt.
Obviously, we're doing it with straps.
Yeah,
so that's another thing. But
anybody ever wear 2 belts?
So
that was fast.
We're allowed to wear like an underbelt and then a power belt.
Oh, yeah, I saw that because the guy took it off when he was doing the log for his last rep. Yep, I saw that.
Yeah, Pat, you thought that was a
Jason,
stupid question.
anytime you're there, I just have so much fun, man. You make my. This is the last show of the day. I tell you what, if I was feeling a little tired, I'm perked back up, man.
Jason brought us a second
You're like
win.
a shot of caffeine.
I'm thinking, you wear like a low-key belt and then like another belt above it. Have you ever done that?
It's not allowed.
No.
Yeah.
Who has done that? You?
It shouldn't be allowed.
I don't deadlift enough to wear that.
Why would that be allowed? Why would you?
Well, if you're allowed to wear one, why can't you wear 2?
Why? Okay, one power belt, an underbelt, and then a.
What happens if you got an 8-inch leather belt?
Look, there's been some guys that have tried nonsense like that, and it's that's what it is. It's nonsense. I mean, if you walked out, you can't take somebody. Should you take somebody seriously that wears 2 belts?
You know who I can't take seriously right now? Me on that screen.
Why did they shift this back?
It's so entertaining.
It's so much better that way.
Yeah. I could sit down. I mean, I could sit down.
I don't think that would really help that much.
There we go.
Really
this is much better. Much better right here.
Hey, but Brian, on a more serious note, like when you are training in your gym, how do you balance hitting big weights, right? And this is a good question for these guys and for myself when I was competing. Balancing hitting big weights in the training versus and preparing for competition. But if you go too heavy, you're putting yourself at risk of injury. And in your sport, this is very common, if I'm not mistaken, like you got to go heavy to get adaptation.
100%.
But how heavy is too heavy where you're exposing yourself to injury for unnecessarily, and you only expose yourself when it's time like this?
Yeah. Great. That's a great question.
Like, what's the percentage on that? Like,
so,
90? I don't know.
And like in your mind, right? Like, what do you say to yourself? Like, is it worth my bicep? Is it worth my hamstring?
Or am I bitching at? Or
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yes, 100%. So, what I would say is for me, like if I was going into a max deadlift, I would always leave my best lifts for the contest. So I would never fail in training. That's what I wanted, right? So if I was going into a max deadlift and you were to ask me in the contest, so let's just say I'm going for a triple in the gym, right? I'm gonna work up to a big triple.
Double overhand with straps.
Double over with straps, yeah. So working up to that, I would assess it from a video standpoint, but also how I was feeling. And then once my form started to break down, that's when I would stop, right? So on that day, I found my max effort triple, right?
For the day.
For the day.
Right.
So, I mean, and then for me, what it did is it accounted for real life factors. So if I have a great day, I got all my meals in, I slept great, hydrated, feeling good, I walk in and my number that day might be a little bit higher, but it's all based on when my form starts to break down. So if I'm having a rougher day, let's just say I've got some stress, I didn't sleep as well, maybe missed a meal, something happened not good, I can walk in, my number be a little bit lower, but it's all based on when my form breaks down. So if I show up to a contest from a mental standpoint, if I have not missed a lift in training, so I always walk away and I can always tell myself I could have lifted a little bit more, right? Now at a contest, somebody will come up and be like, hey, Brian, what are you going to pull on the deadlift? And I'll say, I don't know, right?
And it's a fair answer.
It's
an
100%
honest answer,
true.
yeah.
So I've programmed my head to, I don't know. So whatever you put on the bar is going to go because
there's
I
no
haven't
limit,
I haven't found my limit yet. And most of like, if I had a good contest, there was a lot of times where I got to that and I didn't find that limit because my last lift was good enough, you know. So it's preparing to
Your last lift was good enough for
to win
the win.
contest. Yeah. So that was where I wanted to be, was going in. But it's learning. A lot of athletes don't learn how to listen to their body, right? And there's that output that you have in the gym where you don't necessarily have to prove it every single training session, right? So going to the point where, and I'm talking about the form, so your form's breaking down and your back is looking like a fishing pole, and it's like, well, I'm hitching. Now, granted, it's different here, and I'm sure as we get to the top end weights, you're going to see athletes start to compromise their form. A lot's on the line. So in a contest, that's okay. In a normal training session, not okay, right? So you're trying to do everything you can to not hitch. You're trying to just pull through, get stronger. So the gym is to get stronger, and then the contest is where you put it on display. But that's a big mental thing, because if I would have gone to failure in training, now I know my failure point, and also I potentially have created a mental hurdle for myself where I've got to this weight, now I can't get past it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So for me, it was very important with the bigger weights, but it's managing and listening to your body. So for me, it was 14 days, right? So 14 days between heavy deadlifts was the number.
For your CNS? Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
And when you say, just for clarity's sake, a clean deadlift is one where the bar continues to move up. There is no hitch required. Your back stays in a flat position. What percent? So if you're hitting 1,050 in competition, 1,030, are we talking like 10% off? About 900 pounds? Would you work up to?
So it would all depend on if I was going for a triple or for a double or working into a single. But I wouldn't get like super close. I really like to work in, that 85 type of percent range. Yeah. So if it's around 1,000, you're mid 800s, upper 800s, maybe low 9s. On some of the bigger days, like depending on the setup, of course, right? So it's all. But again, if I didn't feel good, that's okay, man. I can back it off. I would use it as a tool to get better, because even if I'm backed off on the weight, I'm not married to that weight on the bar, right? I'm still putting in work and I'm getting better and moving forward. Even if it's a small step, I could still take a step in the right direction.
I genuinely hope people, I don't know if you can rewind this, but go back and rewind it, because the numbers are different. Your numbers versus somebody else's numbers. But there were some jewels in there that I think allow me to speak for CrossFit athletes now, that too many CrossFit athletes get lost in their own head. You covered several things. Number one, that heavy's heavy, right? But heavy's also a relative thing. It's, it's relative to how'd you sleep last night? It's relative to, do you have some stress going on at work, in a relationship, in whatever that's playing with your mind? It's not just the loading that you touched this day, the loading you touched. It was different 2 weeks ago. You're in a different, things are different, factors are different. Take that into consideration. Is it a training day or a testing day?
Dude.
You don't have to test every day. A training day is valuable based upon those other factors of listening to your body. And I think CrossFitters get into their head that hey, I know what my last max was. I'm doing a 7x1 again. 100%. I have to touch that max or today's a failure. No. If you're operating at 75, 80%, 85%, your body is adapting to that. That's a good day in the gym. That's a win. And I think people need to hear that.
Well, one thing I wanted to add, and this is something I think about from a programming perspective. As I was training the sport, I don't know how you feel about this, but do you have a coach that programs for you, or do you base off how you feel?
So I for almost all of my career, I programmed for myself. And then I did at the very end, I kind of brought some guys in just because my schedule was so busy and I wanted to have more of a sounding board to bounce off of, but I was still
in charge of what you were doing.
I would say it was like if I was the head coach and then it was a strength coach. But ultimately, I still got to make the call about if I needed to call an audible, because the audibles in training, and this is an interesting topic to get on.
Very interesting topic.
When you're training and building up, because of all of the modalities that you guys have to train for CrossFit, it's very similar in strongman because you got all these different things. So these athletes today have to do a max deadlift, but they also had other workouts that had to be done, and they had to prepare for this contest to be ready for everything that was going to be thrown at them. So how much emphasis can you put on a deadlift?
For sure.
Right? And then how does all of the other training that you're doing come into play?
Absolutely.
Right? Well, you have to equate, and that's an interesting thing. I always found that interesting for me. So being able to call an audible and say, you know what, man, I had to pull a truck or lift stones or whatever. My back's maybe not 100%. That's okay, because this week my emphasis was here, and I can take a back seat on this training a little bit and understand that I got better here. But also, you know, as a secondary movement, for example, if I'm lifting stones, my posterior chain got wrecked, but I also got stronger. That's going to translate to my deadlift too. So it's being able to do that stuff. It's interesting and fascinating. And this is a fun conversation for me to have, because I've always kind of wondered that in the CrossFit space, how the athletes program for that and how willing are they to put an emphasis one week on one development skill versus another.
Well, I want to ask a question. This is a
I have a question too, just about form real quick. When you talk about your form and, you know, when it breaks down and, you know, when I hit a certain point, do you do that based on feel, based on video, based on someone else's eye, or all of the above?
I would say all of the above. So
okay.
I really like to take video, especially of deadlift, from the side.
Yes, to see your
so
posture, your posterior chain.
At least a 3/4 to the side. And I started doing that early in my career, because that's what kept me honest.
Right. Because you're like, oh, I'm not rounded, and you're like,
yes.
Yeah.
And the video doesn't lie, right? And so you can break that down. And so I would always study that video of the training and say, okay, I could have locked in better here, hips are here, shoulders are here. Maybe let's dial this in a little bit more. But some of it was based on feel as well, right? So you'd lift a certain weight, and then I would try to have people training with me that I could trust their opinion, and they weren't just going to blow smoke and say, hey,
oh, that was easy.
Yeah, oh my God, you could go up, you could put more on. It's like, no, today's not the day, that's it, let's leave it there, you know. And having those people, you know, you have to be real with yourself too, and not, you know, not say, hey, I can push more, and then you get to that point where now you're compromising form. And, you know, I think it's important, you know, to identify that at an early age too. And I had a great coach that I got to be under coming out of college, and he reinforced this for me, and he said, hey, Brian, look, I can let you go. I was almost too strong for my own good, to be fair, and I was deadlifting horribly. And he would not let me go past when I was training with him when my form broke down.
He's a good coach.
Man, I hated him. I was so angry with him, but it was the best thing that could have happened for me, because he said, look, you have to think about right now, where are you going to be when you're 30? Where are you going to be when you're 35? Where are you going to be when you're 40? And he's like, you can be really good and have a very short career.
Right.
If you correct this now, lay a good foundation, and identify when your form's breaking down, you can have a wonderful career, long career, and not have your back messed up, not have your body messed up. And I mean, knock on wood, for me, I made it through all of that, and my back is fine, my hips are fine, like everything's good.
Now you're gonna be doing MMA, baby.
whole different conversation. Yeah.
But here's what's really interesting, I think, about what Sean's talking about. Is, why did I just say Sean? Brian Shaw. We got it. Your brain's going a different direction.
You'll settle that on the jiu-jitsu mat.
Yeah. But this is very interesting, though, is that as an athlete, most of these athletes here have people programming for them.
Yeah.
And I've always had an issue with this, and I've had an issue with this for the reason that I think Shaw is talking about here, that some days your coach might tell you to program to go for a 1-rep max deadlift, and maybe you're even on a cycle to build to that. But if on that day you're not feeling it, it at times can make you feel like you're not accomplishing anything.
Yeah.
But it might just not be the right day. And I know for me, the way I would program for myself and our team would be, we would vibe off the energy. And if we were feeling good, we'd go for PRs. If we weren't feeling good, let's just get in what we can. And that's one of the things I think these athletes and people should be aware of, is like, dude, you're not gonna necessarily know the day you're gonna PR. You might try and train for that idea, but in training sometimes, dude, you didn't have great sleep. You didn't have this. And I think if you set your mindset that I have to PR my friend today, if you don't accomplish it because all these other things happen to you, it could really mess with you mentally. But if you just instead say to yourself, hey, I'm gonna have the best friend that I can for this day, I think that's a better way to train for longevity. You know what I mean?
There's so many probably little rabbit holes we could go down with that, right? Where it's ideally, let's say that you were a high-level athlete and you had a coach, that ideally it would be a relationship, right? Where you're having those conversations of, hey, here's what the protocol is today. sometimes you're feeling it and like, hey, today, coach, just so you know, this seems like too much to whatever. I'm feeling slow, I'm feeling weak. And who knows, 9 times out of 10, it might be like, so glad you told me that, here's the modification we're going to make.
Right.
But every now and then, maybe you need the coach to be like, I know that you're tired, and you know what, you're going to be tired in competition. Let's see what you got tired. You know, so that there might be that
time and a place
you know,
for everything.
at the right interval, at the right whatever. But I would hope that it's a two-way street of communication, because they don't know what you're, as good as they are, you're living the life, you've got those outside stresses that even if you followed the training protocol and you're a robot and they know exactly what should be so and what shouldn't, they don't know those other 15 factors of a real human being that influence that, and there has to be this synergy between the two, I would think anyway.
For sure. For sure. Dude, he's so strong. Look at this.
They're moving it really fast. They're at like 525 now.
I mean, Chandler's
Adler's
one of those,
moving it pretty fast
Chandler's
too,
one of
though.
those individuals that if everything goes as well. We cursed him for, unfortunately, in the other event, but he should.
So there is an
he should be
event
the
going
final
on right now.
here.
We got so like
sidetracked.
we got so focused on this
He looks
conversation
like,
here.
His outfit's really awesome right now.
Dude, he's
Chandler?
fantastic.
He's like almost ready to go play golf.
I was literally about to say that. I'm like, he looks like he's ready for golf.
I just want to bring up one thing that, Shaw, you were talking about. I just want to make sure I answer your kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
In strongman, you have a variety of different events, but they all stay within similar-ish time domains, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like, they're different events, but they're all within X energy system and time domain.
Yeah, I would say for the most part, you're at like 60, 75, 90 seconds.
Sure.
Of all-out work. For me, I always wanted to be able to work all out, 100% maximal effort for that kind of 75 to 90 seconds. So that's where you needed to live. Yeah.
Right. What's difficult about CrossFit, I think that over time it's going to be really interesting to see, is that from a training perspective, you have to hit these long ranges of 2, 3, 4 hours. But you also have to hit these, 10-second like this.
Or the 20-second duel, like the sprint.
Sure, exactly. And what makes that difficult from the CrossFit Games perspective is the dedication and the amount of time it takes to require to train, because you have to train so many different modalities in terms of gymnastics, weightlifting, and cardio pursuits, but you also have to pursue different time domains within those modalities.
Yeah.
So the requirement is hours and hours and hours a day because of that, which is unlike any other sport.
Right, yes, it's a beast.
I feel like that's where a lot of background comes into it too, right?
Yeah,
Like what foundation have you laid? Just like he was saying with your deadlift foundation, it's like, how many sports did you play as a kid? How much, activity did you do as a kid? It all adds up to this.
It's not too much to ask. I mean, we'd want you to be a high-level power lifter,
Yep.
high-level Olympic weightlifter,
Level 10
be
gymnast.
good with odd objects, excel at gymnastics, be able to run a potentially half marathon, be also good at sprinting, be good at calisthenics, be an excellent swimmer. Let's get you on the bike. I mean, like, there's a lot, and be short, medium, and long, light, moderate, heavy. There's a big ask of the CrossFit athlete.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's go, Chandler.
He chose only to wear one belt.
So,
Not two.
but here's the thing.
Oh, easy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chandler's, he's
Chandler's take it for what it's worth, but his listed deadlift is 635 pounds. He's the top dog if you just go by numbers. But, Vellner, who's walking into this in the lead, it's a great event for him. Pat's got a listed deadlift close to 600 pounds. I mean, he's a great deadlifter, and so...
Is that kind of, in your guys' opinion, is that the level we're looking at? 600. I mean,
600 is still a big deadlift.
That's a big deadlift.
I mean, is 600 a top 5? Is 600
Yes,
a top
yes,
for
yes.
sure. I think that's going to be like a top 3.
There's a lot of guys in the 5s. You don't hear 6 a lot.
Yes,
No.
not.
Anything that begins with the 6 is rare.
Yeah, like, so for me, when I was talking about 575, that would have put me at like the top 5 in my, like, the years.
Yeah.
Now it's gone up a little bit, right? Like,
575 is still a monster deadlift.
it was so
You were
big.
ahead of your time, Jason. Look, I know that's what you want me to say.
Oh, good old Noah Olson.
So, Brian, are you like a grip it and rip it? I know with straps it takes more time to set them up and adjust. Or are you like a get set, pump the butt, lift your heel, or lift your toes? I don't know.
I like where you're
You know what I
going
mean?
with
Like,
it.
are you like a
Do you
like a
prime the
flashy?
motor?
Are you like a
Yeah.
flashy setup? Or are you like a I got this, grip it, rip it, go?
No, I did it the same way every single time,
Okay.
and I was very methodical.
Okay, so you had like a whole routine, like foot.
So for some of the deadlifts, obviously we're strapping in. I would do it repetitively in the gym.
Okay.
So I could execute that whether there was nobody in the gym, it was just me, or there was thousands of people watching. So even in the bigger pressure moments, it's always the same.
Okay.
The same strap, the same belt, the same breathing, the same setup.
Not two belts,
foot
just
position.
one.
Yeah.
But when you set up, I think just to kind of, I'm really interested in this
I
too.
am. Me too.
So there's, even with straps, do you like to get set? So what I like to do is I like to get down, I like to place my hands, my feet. I like to lift my hips up, kind of relax my back, then drop my hips down, set my back, create tension, and lift. Is that the way you do it?
I did it with rolling the bar. And I could set
You're like
my
a dynamic
hips.
start.
I could set my hips in a better position by doing that. And I experimented with both ways, right? Like it just, for me, with my size, I was able to get into a better starting position by rolling the bar, but the exact same speed. So slowly, slow, tight. So if you think of like a spring, right? So that's what I was used as a mental cue. It's like coiling up a spring as I got into that start position. And then when it was time, then you would have all the tension, maximum tension in the system, and then start the lift.
Right.
So I could do that better for me with rolling the bar. That's not for everybody, and everybody. I mean, this is the thing is something like a deadlift. It's not a cookie cutter.
No.
You know, as much as some coaches might try to say that, or people that teach us say you have to do it exactly this way. I was very outside of the box, and I started doing things my own way, and I took a lot of criticism for it within the sport of strongman because of my stance, because of my setup.
Is that what it was when you say doing things your own way, stance, setup?
Yeah.
Were you like more narrow than most people,
No,
or
wider,
Okay.
much wider.
Okay.
Yeah. And people didn't like it.
Maybe it's because your shoulders are 3 times the size of a normal human.
No, I just brought that up because like I was looking at Tudor Magda and I was looking at Chandler Smith, and they literally are like a walk up, grab and go. So and they're like, to me, look like they're moving the bar the best and kind of the fastest at this moment.
They
So
might
I was
also
just
have
kinda
the
curious.
confidence that they know
Oh,
that
for
they
sure,
go for
absolutely.
50
But I
pounds.
mean, but people get into a routine with their lifting and their that. So I mean, obviously that's what they have to do at home.
It's
You know what
probably
I mean?
something
That's what they
a lot of us
practice,
would
yeah.
benefit from more, because anytime I've had the opportunity to speak to somebody who's world
Professional,
class
yeah.
at the deadlift, and asking about, hey, is there a movement or an accessory or something that you think more people should be doing to help their deadlift? Before that even gets answered, almost across the board, everyone's like, well, before we even get there, I'd love to see how you're set up. I bet we could play with that and just make your deadlift better just by how you're approaching the bar and getting set and getting tight. Are your hips too high, too low? What should you do with your chest, your legs? And like, that seems to be the common, like, let's just start there.
It's a great place to start because that's a foundation of the lift, right? And the better you can lock that in, the better you're going to do typically. And then from there, you find where the weak link in the chain is, and then you build it up. So
when you're talking about deadlift, in particular, I think injury points, maybe like when the back gets out of position, maybe if your hamstrings are tight, whatnot. But the bicep becomes a pretty popular potential injury.
Especially with the mixed grip.
Especially with mixed grip. So I have to ask, and I'm wondering if that's the reason why Laura might have chosen the double overhand.
Oh, maybe.
But if you have a mixed grip, I know for me now, because I don't deadlift super heavy all the time, I do feel more tension in my bicep and I start to worry about it. What types of things have you done to prepare your bicep, prepare your muscles to be, like, is there anything specific you're thinking about when you're lifting at 900, 800 pounds?
If you're lifting with a mixed grip, I think it's very important to think about flexing the tricep. Flexing the tricep to keep that down. Yeah.
Just get bigger biceps, Jason. We won't have any problems.
I've never. You're thinking about flexing the tricep?
I mean, that's a pretty good cue.
Especially on the underhand, right? So you're flexing here, because if the tricep is flexed, you can't bend.
Flexing the tricep.
Yeah.
You can see the wheels
There you go.
spinning in his head.
There you go.
Ooh,
Hey, that's why this is the premium content.
Between that $25 paywall,
He's
well
like,
worth. Like, for flexing the tricep, I just earned my own
What you got,
payment
man?
for this. Yeah, between that and the jiu-jitsu I learned today, I'm feeling very educated.
That's awesome, man.
And his sport mode and
Adrian said you're trying to talk him into getting on the mat, and he's resisting.
No, so Adrian, he was Adrian Bosman comes over.
Oh, I thought he was talking about Conrad.
And
Bosman.
The mats were pretty crowded, but I could tell that he was 2 seconds away from getting on it. But I think the mats were just a little bit crowded for him. But he's got the bug. I mean, dude, he's all in.
Yep. He's not a halfway kind of guy.
Nah, he's all in. He's so Shaw.
Is that legal? Did you see that lift where he kind of had it on his knees, and then is that legal in strongman?
So typically, and it does kind of depend on the contest,
Okay.
what the rules are, but typically speaking, you're allowed to hitch.
Oh, okay.
The bar is just not able to go down.
Oh, okay. So if it changes direction at any
Yes.
point, it cannot
and then
continue to go up.
sometimes what you'll see more is if we're doing a leverage deadlift, so more like a car deadlift where it's a platform.
Oh, yeah.
Some guys will try to get it on top of their knees and then sit their hips down.
And like
Yeah.
squat it
And
up.
almost so the whole thing is resting on their legs, which is can be very dangerous.
Rest a car on your
Yeah.
legs.
So
Sounds
typically not something you really want to do because it would be very easy for your feet to slip out.
Yeah, yeah.
But with the bar, it's much harder. So it's more that the bar cannot come back down.
Got it, okay.
So you can stop, you can hit. So very similar to what we're seeing here
Yeah.
with some of these athletes. So
Is it really? It's not really an issue in strongman, or is it an issue?
what's that, hitching?
Yeah, like for a deadlift.
No,
It's not really.
it shouldn't be. The biggest problem that we have in the sport of strongman right now is straps.
Oh.
And this is something I'm an old school guy.
Bring up the controversy. I'm ready.
Yeah, and
Popcorn.
they've come out with these things called figure 8 straps, and it has quite literally ruined. In some contests has ruined.
Okay, so how are they
deadlifting.
different though? I don't.
So
is it like
a regular strap would just go around your wrist and it would come
The
through
long-
one time,
Yes.
and then you would wrap that around the bar.
Okay,
right?
I've used those.
A figure 8 strap goes. It's literally like an 8, so
Okay.
it goes through the middle.
Like an infinity sign?
Yes. Yeah. So you would put one hand through, put that around the bar, and then put it back over.
Oh, so it's like literally like a handle.
Yes.
And
So your hand, you could open your hand completely. It just hangs off your wrist. So
Interesting.
That would
they-
not
I didn't
be-
even know that existed.
That would not be good for Oli lifting.
No,
No.
you can't turn anything over.
No, you
well,
would break your wrist. Yeah.
Well, it's also very dangerous for deadlifting, and some guys have had very serious injuries because you can't bail. So like if you get caught
Or if you
and
pass out or something. Oh,
you're
shoot.
going forward. One guy like almost broke his eye socket because it's down, but you're going with the bar because you're tied to
Right.
the bar. But the reason that I'm saying it's really messed things up for us is there's different lengths of those, and it can be wrist size dependent. So if you can get the bar to sit lower, so if you're grabbing a normal bar here, right? If you get it to set lower, now I've shortened my pull.
The distance
So I can open
traveled.
my fingers
Oh,
up and it's just
man.
hanging. And there's been some lifts that have got
Hold
away
on,
with
like
that.
mind blown right now.
Yeah, that's
So
Why don't
anyway.
we just ban the figure 8s?
No, in my contests that I've run and organized, they are 100% banned.
Good.
So no suits, no figure 8 straps. Thumb around the bar, or make you actually do the lift correctly.
Yeah,
Because
right.
the length of the strap really doesn't matter.
The length does not. It can if you try to tie it in, and you can try to cheat a little bit there. But as long as your thumb is around the bar and it's not coming out, that should be okay.
Yeah.
But in the Rogue Invitational here for the strongman, they weren't allowed the figure 8 straps either, which I'm a big fan of, and they also weren't allowed the suits. So
yeah.
the same rules
Right.
that I would prefer. So I think that's a great move. And within the sport of strongman, I think they should get rid of those just in general.
I
So
didn't even know those things existed.
fascinating.
Have you ever used a suit?
No.
Dude, so
A swimsuit.
I-
Have
not
you?
a strongman
So I
suit.
competed at a powerlifting competition years ago, right? And me and this dude were warming up.
Oh,
I
a
wor-
benching suit. Those are
a
insane.
benching suit. So I worked up to like 315. I was feeling the vibe. I'm like, dude, I'm crushing all these whatever. All of a sudden, this dude puts on his bench shirt and just went to work on this. And what I learned through that powerlifting experience, and I actually tried them on and whatever, is that there's a technique on how to use the suit effectively.
100%. Yeah.
So it almost becomes how well you know how to use a bench shirt or the suit versus your actual strength. Obviously, it's a
there
fact.
we
Everything's
go.
got technique to it, huh?
And also how it fits, you tailor them in.
Wow.
It's to be fair, it's pretty ridiculous in my opinion. Again, within the sport of strongman, that's what I'm talking about. Now,
Right.
there's powerlifting and there's federations that are just you wear supportive gear and suits, and that's your thing. Like then it should be allowed because that's where you're competing.
And that's
but-
where everyone is doing
yeah,
it.
yeah, And I'm not saying I'm against it there. It's more just the sport of strongman, I think.
And
you
you're pure.
don't need it. You don't need it, And again, it's like if you see two athletes going and one of them is better at using the suit or has it dialed in better or something. Now, are we really seeing who's stronger or are we
Right.
seeing who's better with the
Right.
gear?
Right. Yes,
And that's really the
100%.
argument, I think,
100%.
when it comes down to it.
Ooh, Roman.
Adler's out though. Adler and Vellner. Vellner moved it pretty easily, and Adler couldn't get it off the ground.
oh,
At
Adler.
555.
Okay.
So that's gonna shift some points around then, right?
That's
Adler
not
walked
helping
in
the
in
cause
fourth.
a little bit. Yeah. I mean, but Vellner's in front.
Yep.
So.
Again, I mean,
And he moved it really
this
well.
event lines up great for Pat.
Do you look how many guys
Like,
are
so
wearing
here we go. Here, it was like, yeah, we just.
Look how many guys are wearing tape on their hands too.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of that is a factor.
Now, why are some of them not choosing to wear a belt?
Or a lot of guys wear it under their shirt.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the
okay.
girls wear it on top. I don't know why, but.
It's funny, you know, for the women, we had Annie and Katrin on for the previous show, and Annie, I believe it was, said that she just, when she first got into it, didn't know what she didn't know, didn't wear a belt, and then even as she progressed and became an astonishing athlete, just it always felt uncomfortable and distracting.
That's
To
interesting.
get set is a little bit awkward. Like I need to
Most
squat
people
with
do.
a belt, but
Most people do, but especially when it gets heavy relative to their capacity.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
there's a couple that don't.
What are the regulations when it comes to the
I think
belt?
it's like 5 inches and straight
I don't
or
know
something, or
I don't
3
know the
inches or
inch- I don't
something.
know. I have to
There is
don't
some
know.
sort of standard where it can't be like too wide on the back side of
Is
it,
it?
Okay.
and it has to be. Yeah, it has to be like one.
But
one.
could you get a belt that was more flexible? Would that be okay? It doesn't
Well,
necessarily
there's
have
Oh
to
two
yeah,
be
different
a
types
you can
you're
do
seeing.
leather. You
Okay.
can do the.
So that one
Velcro,
right there is
yeah.
nylon,
Yeah.
right
Or
there.
nylon, yeah.
And then you have Chandler who's wearing a leather. Now, in my opinion, I mean, I'm leather all day.
I
feel
just
like,
can't get it. I'm like either too big or too small. Like there's no like the right in between.
Oh, the
notches.
The notch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're using nylon, right?
Yeah.
But then I think Vellner's using a black leather, if I'm not mistaken.
I
Now,
think,
are you allowed to wear like a lever belt?
Oh yeah, Vellner's wearing a leather belt.
No,
lever.
lever.
Oh, leather.
You
Oh,
just-
I don't
you just-
know.
you don't really see it.
Good
They're-
question. It's not common, that's for sure. Is it legal or
wonder
not? I
why.
don't
I
know,
don't
but it's
think
not
it wouldn't
common.
be legal because I think it's straight all the way around.
Do you see that as a significant difference?
Well, lever belt. The nice part compared to a prong belt is you have to work to get a prong belt on.
Yeah.
Whereas if you can get it set correctly, a lever belt you just snap, and it basically just pull the lever over, and now you're tight.
I
So
feel
when
like
you're
maybe-
walking up, it's not hard.
Yeah.
If you have it set correctly, but it may not be allowed in. I don't know.
Maybe. I feel like they may not use it sometimes because of the like the lever might get in the way. I don't know. I don't know how much it
Would it
sticks out.
confer any significant advantage, or is it just more convenient? Because if it doesn't confer a significant advantage, I wouldn't be surprised if it's perfectly good to go.
It should be the same as a prong belt as far as support goes.
I would think it. I would. Again, I don't know for sure, but I wouldn't think there'd be an issue with it then.
how about smelling salts? So, I was back to my powerlifting competition. I was at this powerlifting meet, and I was like, dude, I'm trying to get fired up on
was
something.
this?
This was actually like in like Union City area, like back in the day.
It was?
Yeah, it's old school, or Fremont. And so I walk in there, I'm trying to get that Metallica going, whatever, and I'm like, some guy had smelling salts, and I tried it. And what do you think about that for like training, and what do you think about that for competition?
So I was a fan of only using a smelling salt like an ammonia capsule. I like the capsules better because they were easy to use, and I could just put them behind my ear and whatever. But I would only use it for my biggest training sessions and then for competition. I did not like to use it all the time.
Yeah, because then doesn't it just wear like it just becomes run of the mill?
Yeah, exactly. So we were having the belt conversation. So I wouldn't put on the big power belt until I was much closer to a contest, because it was like an extra layer of muscle that I could put on. Right.
Look at that. Look at
This
that.
is easy. Yeah.
Wait, so when you just said, if I heard you correctly, you took an ammonia pill and you put it behind your ear.
Capsule.
And
Yep.
then when you were ready, did you like pop the capsule?
Exactly.
And
so
then
I
you
would
smell it?
it would fit right behind my ear, so I could walk out to compete.
Yeah.
That's the
And
best.
I'd be ready, and then I could just take it from my hand. So like the bar's right in front of me, and then this was all part of my routine too. But I could just pop that, and then smell it, once or twice, and then I'm like, at that point I'm so zoned in on the weight that it doesn't matter what's going on. I just go into my routine. So this will be a big lift here.
But Vellner just crushed that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
Dude, I'm surprised that Roman's still in, because some of his earlier lifts looked a lot harder than they did for other guys, and he's still crushing it.
That's kind of how the girls were too. Remember how Danny looked a little bit like it looked a little bit hard, and then she got to the heavier weights, and all of a sudden I'm like, what, did they take off 50 pounds or something?
Yeah.
She looked so good. Not that she didn't look good, but she just looked like it got lighter as it got heavier.
For
which
sure.
Doesn't make sense to me.
out of curiosity, before we move on too much from the smelling salts, what do they actually do? They just spark up your central nervous system like a jolt of energy and caffeine to your body? What do they do?
If you were to be knocked out, that's what they would give you. Like a paramedic would probably carry that, and it would basically wake you up from being knocked out. So
like
it's
a slap in the
very,
face.
very strong.
You could hire me. I could slap you if you
Yeah,
need.
that would be, yeah.
I'm available.
It's essentially the same thing.
Well,
so.
have you had, because I've seen powerlifting videos where they have someone come up and slap them.
See, I was not, for me, man, it all came down to what worked for me. So you have this approach that you develop for yourself. And so the smelling salts worked great. Some competitors love to either be slapped on the back is a real common one, like real hard. But again, it kind of, what you're trying to create or what's being created is kind of like a fight or flight type of response. So the ammonia is more, it's more so like it kind of sucks, right? Like you're like, all right, I'm smelling this. It's like, oh man, but it just zones you in. So it's not, from a performance standpoint, it's more about turning your brain on than anyway. And it's kind of, for the bigger weights for me, it was more of that switch, like, so here you have the normal switch, here's like the turbo booster switch. When you throw the big belt on and the ammonia, everything, that was like, for me, was like, I knew big weight was coming, and that's when I needed to really, really dial it in. So, I mean, something like this, you know, I would save it. If I was doing this contest and so many lifts were leading up, I would save it until I really needed it. That would be kind of like the nitrous on your car, right?
Well, it's the same thing for these guys. Like
when you get that single platform, you're like, ooh, I'm smelling some salts now.
You know, it's the same thing. Like if I was doing this competition, I'd be probably, if I could, go barefoot. I don't know if you're allowed to.
I don't know if they're allowed to. I think they have to wear shoes, though.
So obviously you have to wear shoes. Probably have to wear shoes. But I'd go a minimal sole shoe.
Yeah, totally.
And I would just be chilling, just kicking it, like staying warm. And then when I was like in the hole, right, I'd start priming, you know, start setting my belt, and my cue was always like ramp that sucker down tight, you know, and then go into your mantra before you set up, right?
Yeah.
But in between these lifts, I mean, you got a lot of time. You got to learn to down regulate and then re-regulate over and over again. It's really important. Otherwise, your central nervous system gets too kicked in for too long and it dies down.
So the way that, and this would be an interesting question too, the way that I always used to explain it to people is, if I started a contest, right, and I had a pitcher of water, and every event that I have to do, I have to dump out a little bit of that water, right? Immediately when the event's over, I'm down, right? So there's no more adrenaline release, there's no more heightened, I'm not trying to run around and scream too much. It's like, all right, it's over, doom, switches off, we're not dumping any more water. So I'm trying to conserve everything that I possibly can until the last part of the contest, versus dumping the whole thing out. And what you just said exactly is it, right? Like, you have to be able to flip that switch on, do the lift, flip it off, calm down, and go down like that. And so many, in the sport of strongman, I see it very frequently with younger athletes. They're not able to do that very well, right? So within this, you know, you can almost see the body language of a lot of these athletes. Like, this is a confident athlete here, right? Like, you can see it. It's
like he's ready for the weight that's on the bar. You can tell.
Right.
But he's building that confidence on, like, he's going through his routine, right? But now watch, he's gonna finish. He's gonna go sit down and kick it and just chill.
No problem. Yep.
And talk about something different, and you know,
Jason,
whatever.
just so you know, confirmation came in. You have to wear shoes.
Okay.
Yep, you couldn't go barefoot.
But if you didn't have to wear shoes,
yes,
would you go with barefoot?
They were saying that the strongmen on the Tower of Power, they don't wear shoes, or they wear Crocs, or
so I actually did. I mean,
sport mode.
Oh, serious?
What I did is I used to not lift in shoes, and I went to a lab with force plates, right? And I did some deadlifts on force plates.
Yeah.
And so for me, I actually, with an orthotic that was custom made and shoes, I was able to generate more force than barefoot.
Dude.
So that's why I chose to do it.
Do what works.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I would do it is not necessarily for power. It's also to reduce the range of motion by half an inch or an inch.
Which is exactly, so for me, that was the gameplay, right?
is it worth it to do this versus that?
And I went in there and I said, I had the opportunity. I was like, how cool is this? Now I get to actually figure it out. But it was a significant advantage for me to wear the shoes because I could generate more force. Even though the range of motion was just a little bit further, it was worth it.
Dude.
So.
Put the shoes on, Jason.
This is some in-depth, I hope the listeners right now are like, this is like the encyclopedia of lifting, because you're also coming to it from a different perspective of not just like powerlifting, but like strongman, which I think is super cool.
Yeah. Oh, double overhand for Travis
It's been
Mayer.
an absolute blessing being able to the guests that have rotated through here has been awesome. It's been awesome.
It's fun to just sit and talk,
Really
and to learn. I'm talking, but it's also fun to learn, and I'm fascinated by the fact that they're not doing bigger weight jumps. They have to do a lot of reps here to get.
Yeah, there's a lot of volume that adds up.
I feel like the top end numbers potentially could be a lot better because this is a lot of volume.
They don't always do a ladder though. Sometimes they do you get 3 attempts and you could choose your attempts.
Okay, so
and you can warm up. Yeah. So
okay.
I think just with everything, this is just exciting because it tapers off and narrows the field. So for a show, it's great, but I think for a true 1 rep, obviously, it's also the 6th event of the weekend.
Well, they're going to be on. They're going to be. Some of these guys are going to have 14 lifts before this is over.
Yeah,
and Shaw, one of the things that these guys have to think about, that I guess is similar to strongman, is they're doing a mile run with a backpack on. You're doing all these different stuff. Your hands are messed up. You're doing this, and a lot of these guys now they're in the top 7, if I'm not mistaken, or 6 at this point, maybe 7.
Top 10 go to the 2 platforms.
Yeah, but 2 guys I think missed lifts, so maybe we're at whatever.
Right.
You got to start saying as an athlete, how far do I want to push it
for 5 points?
For 5 or 10 points or whatever it is, because at some point you might just say, hey, look, I'm good, and I'm gonna save my back, my hamstrings, my posterior chain for tomorrow.
There's 300 points tomorrow.
Yeah. So looking at an event like this with that in mind, I'm assuming there's competitors that are going to look at this as all right, this is my must win.
That's right.
I'm looking at 100. I'm looking at 95. This is where I need to get within the contest. And it's an interesting battle, I would imagine, because if you back off too much, you could drop down quickly in points as well. So you have to let's just say we're getting in the top 10, you might have to fight more than you even think. So it may not have the luxury of saying, I'm just going to cash it in too much.
Right.
What if, they know 2 of the events tomorrow, and if you're
Dude, look at
I know, that moved really well.
That was double overhand too, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Well, there's a really good chance on that topic that you just said, the women's event that happened earlier, I bet, I can't say for sure, but Danny Spiegel's so strong and had the highest lifted deadlift by 20 pounds over any of the women. I bet she thought this was going to be an easy 100 points.
Yeah.
At a certain point, they're going to drop up. I'm not really
last
near
year
my
with
1
the
rep.
Texas
It's
Oak.
not going to be that taxing.
Yeah.
And then it went way further than she thought, and somebody beat her by 5, and she had to go 110%. So I bet, she earned, 95 points, but man, she earned it.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Both out, Travis and Jason Hopper.
What did you think the women's deadlift would end at?
Well, her 1 rep listed was 420, and she was
415, I think, or 410.
Yeah, somewhere right around there. So I thought it was going to be in the 420, but I didn't think she would have. I thought she'd be the clear winner, and that would be that. And then it did not turn out that way, and Alex Kazan PR'd and PR'd and PR'd and PR'd and beat her by 5 pounds and looked so strong the whole time. It just blew my mind.
There we go. Chandler.
I think we're going to see 600.
Chandler's just a beast deadlifting.
Vellner's moving. Tudor Magda's moving it really well.
Yeah, but Chandler's in his leisure clothes. Okay, he's not even concerned about what's going on up there.
He's winning the fashion show.
He's leaving here and he's going to the country club.
Yeah.
I'll take a Shirley.
That would
Temple,
just
please.
play with my mind. If we walked down that, I'd be like, this guy's relaxed.
Dude, you know what? Maybe it's all part of his plan.
It could be.
He's letting the other athletes know, hey, I'm here just casually because I know I'm going to win.
He's got a collared shirt on.
Yeah, I got a collared shirt.
Who deadlifts in a collared shirt?
Apparently he does. Yeah.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
And apparently it helps.
Oh, good lift, Pat.
That moved really well once it got off the ground.
That looked easier to me from him than 550 did.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's interesting as you see these athletes start to break down with their lifts a little bit. it's like Pat off the floor there, once he got him moving, was real solid.
Yep.
Right? Versus like, you know, we're talking
Someone else
about like
that
the
hitches
top,
or
the
whatever,
top end. It's like it's so much power off the floor, but then the lockout is where they start to have problems, you know. So it'll be interesting to see as the weight goes up on the bar, where we'll get with that.
Where did you struggle? If you had a sticking point, was it off the ground or was it at the top?
Earlier in my career, it was the top end.
Okay.
And then I just hammered it for a few years, and then it balanced out. So it was different points, but I would train, because in strongman you have all of these different deadlift variations, so you have to be strong from every single height. It's not just walking in the gym and putting a normal 45-pound plate on the bar and being strong from 9 inches. You have to be strong at every position. So I would, within the full range of motion, I would always try to find the weakest spot and then work on that. So every point, ideally, you have no weak spots left, but for me, for the most part, I was always better with a full range of motion deadlift off the floor, because I could generate so much power with my legs.
Yeah.
And that was really where I wanted to be. So the wider stance came into play for me because I could push off the floor a heck of a lot harder. So I actually thought of it more as a leg press than a deadlift, right? So I thought like, okay, and mentally it was, I would try to drive my feet through the floor versus pull the bar up.
Well, this is interesting, by the way. So right now you have Pat, Chandler, and who's the other athlete? Magna, that are all Tudor, that are all tied for first. And so if Vellner wanted to just like stop, he would take third in this event, which would be a solid finish for him, and prepare him for tomorrow's competition.
Right.
But they want to put on a show too. You're in the center of the home plate.
I don't know. Maybe.
You've been the competitor. What would you do?
You know what? How many points?
Let's say you were.
How many
you
points?
were Vellner. You're in the lead by 40 points.
But there's 300 tomorrow still.
Yep.
And with one unknown event. That's a lot of points.
And you're not really competing against these other two guys that you're deadlifting against right now. You're competing them in the deadlift, but not on the leaderboard for the podium at the moment. What would it be worth for you?
I think, I would have to ask myself, how does my body feel at this point? If I was at all feeling like, oh man, maybe my back's a little tight, a little this, I'd stop. Dude, third place is still a great finish, and you have 3 more events tomorrow.
And see, and that's interesting to hear from competitor to competitor, because I asked this exact same question to Katrin and Annie, and they said they would rather die.
Then stop.
Yeah. So it's just, I'm sure it's...
Get it.
Lockout. Nice.
Wow.
And that bar right there, that final bar, you see the texture, it's wrapped in like the Texas flag.
Yeah.
It's super cool. So it's on home plate, wrapped in the Texas flag.
They always do such a good job.
Center stage, under the lights, everyone's screaming.
But sure, just to clarify, if I was feeling good, my body's feeling good.
I don't doubt you, my friend.
No, I'm just saying, like, if I was feeling good,
would die.
I would die.
Yeah, Jay,
you know,
I've watched you compete, my friend. I know you're gonna send it.
Yes.
I do not doubt that at all.
Wow.
In all my years of commentating, all my years of watching, there was never one time that I was with my fellow commentators and said, you know what? I wonder if Jay's going to try hard on this. And we never had to worry about that.
He went blackout every workout.
You know, but also part of the gaming too is like you would watch your other athletes put up the bar. And if I was watching my athlete Chandler and I was moving kind of slow and I barely got it, you'd be like, this guy's probably got 20, 30 pounds in the tank.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that becomes
right.
a factor too.
And everyone maybe wants to act like they're not following all their competitor stats. They know Chandler has the biggest deadlift out there. They know that.
He's listed at 595, but he has pulled 600, I thought. That's what I've heard people say.
There you go.
That's sweet.
Looks solid.
Right when he gets it off the ground, it like moves really, really consistently. Wow.
I think that one with Chandler was the first time, at least that I've seen his facial expression change, where he looked like he actually kind of tapped into it a little bit more. But then just like Jason was saying, it's like he walked off, he did that, and then it was immediately back to smile, calm down, walk back. But it's going to be interesting to see when he opens that gas tank up a little bit.
I wonder what they're talking about here.
Do they get to decide the weight or what?
At some point, I thought when it got down to just the final 2 that they could like pick a weight.
I think he's going to have the I mean, Chandler, I think, has got this event.
I thought Vellner looked like it moved
Dude,
really well.
Vellner looks good, too.
I don't know. I can't say. Like, once it gets off the ground, there's not a lot of shake or anything, you know?
He's not having a problem with the lockout.
At all. Like, once he gets it to right below his knee,
it's amazing.
he's golden.
I had a good conversation with Vellner this morning while eating a waffle.
Oh, it sounds so good.
Did you laugh the whole time?
Dude, I laughed.
So funny.
Dude, he's so funny. So I was asking him. I was like, bro, you've been in the game forever. Like, what's cracking? He's also.
Was
that the question?
What's
Was that the
cracking?
question?
You know, and I was asking him, like, what's going on?
What's cracking?
What's cracking?
It's just so NorCal.
I mean, this guy's hella fit. Right?
Oh God, we've gone full tilt.
Yeah.
But seriously, I'm like, dude, like, how many more years do you have? He's like, Jay, like, I want to see some young guys come up and take over the throne, but I haven't seen it yet. My performances are still putting me at the top.
He is.
And it's telling me that I'm not ready to go yet.
Right. I mean,
and I'm like,
fair
enough.
If you're continuing to perform at the highest level, and you're feeling good and you're enjoying yourself.
Why stop?
6:05.
Two-door. That was a good.
Talk about a fast setup. The moment his palm touched that ground, he just started to lift.
That's a great finish for him.
I think
He
he's
should be
only
super
20,
proud.
huh? He's pretty young. He also snatched the most at the
walked into
semifinals. I think he snatched 3.
He walked into this in 18th place in the leaderboard, so he just got himself a boatload of points.
Yeah.
Nice, good for him.
I think he snatched, what, 3:15? Sherwood at the semifinal?
Might be right.
Speaking about Pat, how long do you think you have at the top in CrossFit? Like, what do you think your window is?
Look at Rich Froning. Do we really know?
Easy.
Wow.
So Pat Vellner has 5.
He's 33.
Top 3 finishes. He has 3 seconds and 2/3, if I'm not mistaken. Either
something like that.
4 or 5 top 3, which is amazing. So, I mean, dude, I think you got probably at the top. I think he's proven it. Maybe 6-7 years. I'm thinking is
about what it was.
Is about because you have Froning who has a second and 4 first,
and then like 5 affiliate cups and 1 second. Or
and you have Frazier who has 2 seconds and 5 first. So 7 years, I'd say.
There you go. Lost.
Oh man.
Hands. So then I guess
Chandler won.
Chandler won.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chandler Smith.
6:05.
Okay.
Give it to him. Let the people.
Didn't put on this shirt for nothing.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
He got it all.
That's that wrestler mentality.
Give the crowd what they want.
Yeah, I mean, we're already here.
Dude,
Might
yeah,
as
come
well.
on. Yeah, the dude was a wrestler and he was in the Army. The guy's a beast.
The guy's going for 625, I bet.
I didn't get to get hyped. You need a minute and a half.
I need a minute and a half. I'm going to hit at 625.
That's awesome.
Big as the what? I didn't get to get hyped for that one. I was like,
I didn't get to get hyped for that, was what he said.
That's what I said. It's like, it's good until it's not. I guess when I got like halfway, my fingers were like ripping. And I was like, eh. I was like, can't grip here. I'm gripping here the whole time. I'm like, wow, my fingers are
Come on, Chandler.
So this is just for the crowd, man.
It's just for the crowd.
Why not?
Yeah.
Everyone will be on their feet screaming.
You know, the
That's
Rogue
a lot of pressure,
Invitational, the Rogue Invitational does a very good job of
the clock?
setting up moments like this for athletes and spectators.
Shine, for
And
sure.
I think what's special about this event compared to others is that the events and the situation is set up for spectator, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a different type of event.
It's an intimate venue, even though it's a big venue, you feel like you're right there.
Yeah.
Well, it's such good energy. I mean, last year you saw it with the log press.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
so
You
fun
won
for
that
me
last
to
year,
watch.
Yes.
Just as a spectator, for me to watch all the CrossFit athletes do that was so fun, right? And the energy was, it's great. It was so good.
I love that Dr. Bill was talking about it, and he's like, I don't know how they did that horrible technique. They had it up there for like 7 minutes, and then they made the press.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I have no idea how that happened. Like, he was
610
so
pounds.
All right.
Speaking of which, I got to send you a link for Dave's deadlift. So.
Yes, I want to see it.
Chandler Smith.
Let's go.
Everybody on their feet.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
And in a colored,
Giving the crowd what they want.
He's probably setting the record right now in a collared shirt.
Get it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Woo. Oh, that sign though.
What does that mean?
Chandler time.
They had a sign that was out there. That
He was
pretty
saying,
cool.
that's what's cracking.
That's what's cracking.
Answering your question. Hey, thanks everybody else for showing up.
Yeah. that was my event.
Sorry to make you hang out for so long.
Yeah.
Get some sleep, fellas.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. I love this.
Yeah,
Are we gonna have him on the mic?
Kiki's
I
going to
think so,
interview him,
yeah.
but I don't think he's going to like join us. You'll have to meet him at you'll have to get some waffles with him in the morning.
Nah, you know what? I might need to track him down.
I'd love to have some
Find out where he
waffles
got
with
that outfit. You could,
Yeah.
you
know
could rock
what?
it with your Crocs.
Dude,
Yeah.
if I had my
In
Crocs in
sport
sport
mode.
mode.
Yeah.
You could catch it.
Did you get waffles out in town? Where'd you
No,
get them?
so bro, at the Hometown Suites.
Oh,
Dude,
really?
The breakfast opportunity there.
Oh, man.
Oh my God. Dude, so let me tell you about
The breakfast
Let me tell you about Hometown Suites last night at 11
Here we
p.m.
go. Here we go.
So 11 p.m. After we got done TPing the Mayhem booth, which is a funny.
Oh, stand by. We're going to have Kiki interview Chandler in just 1 second here.
You have to do that extra rep, but you did. Why?
I've never really got the chance to max out on a deadlift environment like this, and I know that considering that I'm 30 and I just broke my back, I probably won't ever do that again. So I wanted to see how far I could squeeze it while the adrenaline was going and before the medical bills kicked in.
Well, it was very exciting. We have to also address the look here. What was the inspiration? You look very dapper.
I thought like we're pretty close to Halloween, so I figured I'd go as a gym teacher. So this is kind of my vibe. That's my aspirational job. So you dress for the job you want, not the one that you have.
Amen. There was a lot of fist bumps between you, the competitors, friends. How fun is it to come out here and throw down side by side along them?
Honestly, this weekend I've been getting beat pretty bad, so it hasn't been that fun. But if you get your moment, everyone's got their party trick, right? We're all pretty good to have gotten here, so when you get your chance, you gotta let it fly and then pick up the pieces later.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Chandler.
Time. Beat Navy.
Man, Chandler Smith, such a beast, and one of only 3 people competing here that have been at all 5 of the Rogue Invitationals. He's phenomenal. I wish him nothing but the best. A monster deadlifter. That is going to close out the men's and women's CrossFit competition for today. We've got, of course, more tomorrow. That was event number 6, the deadlifts. Let's get some closing thoughts from this panel. I think we watched maybe 7 minutes of the competition, but I had one of the most fun conversations ever.
Real, that was
Brian,
amazing.
you've seen a lot of deadlifts in your day. This is in the CrossFit realm. Some parting thoughts.
I think it's fun to see athletes perform, and of course we're talking about numbers and all of that, and a lot of people like to try to get caught up in that type of stuff, but this is the top level in CrossFit, and watching these athletes perform for me is incredible. Like Jason said, I mean, that's, I think, maybe 14 or 15 lifts.
Right.
Within the matter of not a lot of time. So it's a lot of volume to throw down, and that's something that needs to be remembered. And to go above 600 pounds doing that is incredible, especially in the context of this competition and all of the other events they've had to get through. So it's special. I had a lot of fun with you guys, and seeing the athletes perform. I'm a big fan of CrossFit. I'm a big fan of just lifting in general. So this is great. It's great.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for sharing. I mean, again, whoever's watching this, rewind it. There was a deadlift and just strength and conditioning clinic going on.
It really was.
Jason, parting thoughts.
I was just going to say, I really appreciate, Shaw, like you coming in and just sharing such valuable knowledge, at least with all of us, getting to enjoy this moment with us. I appreciate Rogue for allowing me to sit here with you guys and talk about this stuff. I mean, think about it. Bro, here it is. It's 9 p.m. on a Saturday. We have to watch fitness.
We're cracking up here.
And just like have some good laughs with some friends. It's been awesome. And shout out to Chandler. I think he's a great representation of the sport, the humility, but also the grind and the effort and where he wants to go. And I think he represents the sport extremely well, which is one of the reasons why he's a fan favorite and one of my favorite to watch.
So full, just taking into effect everything that's happened today, Saturday competition, what are you walking away with closing thoughts?
Honestly, the highlight of my day was watching that closing scene right there where everyone was high-fiving. Cool. Everyone was like just so proud of him and so genuinely happy for him. Like, you don't see that, I think, in a lot of sports, and to have, 19 other competitors just, come to him, be so supportive of him. I think that that's like what this sport is about, and to see it at this level and this type of competition just makes the community even better.
It was a great day. So we still have one more day of CrossFit competition, but today was the last day for the strongman, and we crowned our official champion. Was Mitchell Hooper, champion of the 2023 Rogue Invitational on the strongman side of the house. He put up a phenomenal run, start to finish. Didn't matter what Mother Nature threw at it. We modified, and he was phenomenal to watch. Again, a full day of CrossFit competition tomorrow, and Rogue record breakers. Don't forget that. For Brian Shaw, Jason Kalipa, and China Cho, I'm Pat Sherwood. We'll see you with more tailgate action tomorrow.